Yeah, okay, I just clicked start recording, so this should be working. And
Okay.
I'll put the playback speed sure to 1.5 and
I think,
let me just
yeah, I
find
think we,
when we start. Here we're finding some tables. Can you guys hear the sound by the way? Do we have the classical music that you guys can listen to?
I don't, I don't hear the sound, but I don't think we need it.
Oh, come on, there's got to be some way for me to be able to share sound.
Don't worry about it.
Stream settings,
It's gonna
stream
sound weird
quality.
because we're sped up.
Yeah, that's true. Oh god, maybe I'll
Yeah,
just mute it for myself then too. I don't need to listen
yeah.
to sped up classical music. Alright, here we go. Okay. I think queen 8 off is like threshold. I think that's what can like fold, call, 3-bet, whatever.
Yes, you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing, because I
No,
don't
no, you're
study the
right.
ranges for 50, but yeah.
It's like that whole category of hands, like that whole like queen nine, queen eight is like they're all kind of indifferent to like fold, like king seven, like
King 7's the one, yeah.
yeah.
Alright, so hang on here. Oh, whatever. I
This is still me trying to
set up
set
your
up.
Juro, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a refresher for everybody. Matt is the psycho who switches when his high numbers are aggressive and low numbers are passive from pre-flop to post-flop for God knows what reason.
And I also don't always follow the RNG, so
Okay, fair
we
enough.
usually do, but
Yeah.
sometimes if it doesn't feel right,
So what are we
Nice.
doing here? Jack 10 flop, probably a mixed small bet check. Makes sense.
yeah, mostly checking.
Sure. I think it would probably be pretty even, like 50-50, maybe a mix, but sure. And
But
then
I think it's
turn.
lower than that.
Yeah, I was thinking like flop we're probably see betting around 35% with range, bit more with
Yeah,
Jack
I
10.
agree.
But
Okay.
turn can probably small bet or check. I know we want to have a delayed overbet c bet range. I think that matters. I think having a delayed small bet c bet or delayed small delayed c bet range here also makes sense.
I like a medium size.
I guess you could simplify to a medium size instead of having a small and big. That makes sense too. And then river we check back on this spade. Makes sense, yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Feels a bit thin. Okay, so that's a fun spot. Get dunked into from the small blind after a flat. We call.
Either option here is fine. You know,
Yeah, raising's
we're
probably fun as well.
we're likely to raise with the heart on board. I felt like we were not raising here more than 50% of the time, so check.
Yeah, makes sense. I honestly don't know, because, like, is his small blind donk here theoretically
A thing.
justified? Because the small blind does
Uh,
have, like, a lot of weird donks after flatting.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not really looking at that stuff, so I can't answer. So
Yeah,
just kind of take the theory cap off.
yeah, I don't think Jack 9-7 is one we get to, but it's weird. There are a lot of them. All right, half pot. Okay.
Nice
Mm,
river.
yeah, and then we get the
So he
tiny
went
bet,
what? He went half pot, tiny, half pot, tiny, and he's a fish, so he has nothing.
probably.
Yeah, he has nothing. All right, no, Yo just said that's cool, so that sounds good. Um, Jacks versus half pot on the turn multi-way. It's probably close.
Yeah, it's probably it's. I mean, folding here is probably fine. You know, like I think calling here is better if a flush draw comes in. I think this is probably not as good without one.
Because you think a lot of their bluffing range is going to be flush draws. That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Makes sense, yeah. I think I just fold here, but I'm notoriously nitty in multi-way spots. I might just be supposed to call. I almost want to call river, but
It's so insane. It's
like when he bets turn, I want to fold, but when he bets river that big, like a lot of these small blind fish just flat a bunch of middling weak ace-x,
yeah,
and I don't think he goes half pot and then big on the river with a middling to weak ace-x.
so hard to know. Like it's just such
He
a
potentially
yeah,
could and
like a
just really own you with jacks, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you got a point. I think Sad Tennis Man has been infecting me. He's making me too much of a station now.
Yeah, definitely don't station, man. It's not the way to fucking win.
Yeah.
It's one of my leaks. Or I'm hoping that I have better control of it now.
Yeah, I used to be way over on the overfolding side. Now Sad Tennis Man is dragging me over towards stationing, trying to find a happy middle ground. Two-thirds is probably fine. I think we tend to size down a little bit when we're in early position on these 10 high boards versus big blind. But
Yeah,
two-thirds is probably like the upper limit of where we'd go. I'd probably go half. Two-thirds is fine.
yeah. I think I agree with you.
Yeah. And then
And just take the
turn.
overbet. Yeah, we just take the overbet here. Bet a card for us. Gut shot.
Yeah.
Gonna yield a lot of folds. We don't have to worry about. I don't feel like we have to worry about being that close to that theory here.
Yeah. I think in theory, our main size is going to be more middling, like two-thirds, 75%.
Okay.
Because we're more leveraging the fact that we have way more king X than he does, right? When the turn is the king. Than just our strongest hands here. We might just split and play like an overbet and a medium-ish bet. You know, like if it
I can
was king,
I can see what theory's doing if you want.
yeah. If it was like
Alright,
king
six,
6
seven.
7 and then a 10, I think we do more overbetting.
So we get
But
some leading on 10-7-6. Our sizing is 33 or 50, so we'll take a 50%.
makes
Basically,
sense.
never uses a 75.
Yeah.
Ace Jack. My hand is literally a pure check.
On the
Like it is
flop,
not betting.
no backdoor
Yeah,
flush draw. Makes sense.
yeah. Even the Ace Jacks with them are like
Low
5%.
frequency.
So
Okay.
yeah. So this is terrible.
Too middling.
And what
Um,
if they never dunk as well?
if they never donk, then we're going to check more. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like that Ace Jack that's like 5% is probably 0%. It's well,
definitely.
I would say almost definitely 0%.
Yeah.
So like our betting frequency here is 52%. I would say it's probably, excuse me, our checking here is 52%. I would say it's closer to 60.
Yeah, 60,
Um,
65, that realm.
all right, so we do bet big blind calls, and then we get the King of Hearts, and we're more looking for the right size here
Yeah.
than if I played this correctly, because we already know that we played it wrong. All right, so Sad T is right. Excuse me, Dan's right again. The preferred sizing here is 75% and 50%, um, and then the rest is check.
Yeah, because what usually happens when it's a board and then a turned over card, since Big Blind usually can't defend on the flop a bunch of that turned over card, instead of leveraging our like very top range of hands like aces, ace, king, we just leverage all of our king X and barrel our king X a ton and use that
Yeah.
75% size because we're betting like our king 5, our king 4, trying to get value from, all of his 10x.
Yeah.
Do you
So
open King 10
Oh, right, we're
offsuit?
under the gun, so. Right.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Oh, that's weird. Like my mic wasn't working this whole time. I'm like trying to figure it out.
Oh, we didn't hear you until now. You saying, "Can you guys hear me?" is the first thing we heard.
Okay, perfect. Now it's working.
All right.
That was weird. All right.
All right, so yeah, you know what? One of the things I definitely have to clean up, Dan, is I'll tend to go. You're supposed to use the smaller sizes here in this low jack. Like the bigger sizes tend to go. Like if we looked at this, if we looked at this on the button, we're probably gonna get like a completely different answer.
I still think we'd mainly barrel like 2/3, 75%, but we might split our range and have an overbet size as well. That's definitely possible.
See, like now there's no leading for the big blind here when
Button
we're in
versus
the
big blind,
button.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I might have the sim
So
as well. I can check.
yeah. So now we shift to splitting. Now we're betting more. Now we're betting 75% and 50% the
On the
majority of
flop
the
you're
time.
talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely a mistake I have in my game. Like this is a mistake I'm definitely making where I know I should be taking some of these smaller bets in these positions. Right.
Do
So
I?
like let's just say here we go 75% and we get called, and then the king. Well, it should be a pure check. Hold on, do your thing. And now on the king, we're still not over betting. It's
Yeah.
choosing 75%, but it is taking the bigger size on the flop.
I think it
So
might be because you're still trying to get value from some hands.
It's because we want to
well,
bet our lower king X to get value from
and
all of the 10x in the weaker hands because he doesn't have much king X.
it's not just that. It's also that we have more of the sets now too, right? Like because he doesn't have like we don't have all the sixes here, right? I don't even know if we have all the sevens. We have all the sevens, but we don't have all
Oh,
the
you
sixes,
you know
right?
why it
And he's
might
got
not be overbetting is because he still has straights and stuff.
right, and well, we have all the straights now too, right? We have all the 9-8 off, and the well, maybe not the 9-8 off. We have
Well,
you
wait,
know
you're under the
we
gun,
have
aren't you?
we have yeah, but what I'm saying is like when we're on the button versus when we're under the gun, right? Like we have
Oh, well,
he
yeah,
has
that's
yeah
yeah,
he
that's
has
different.
yeah he has the nut advantage here,
He doesn't
right?
really have much of a nut advantage though because 9, 8, 7s, and 6s are going to be check raising flops super high frequency.
Yeah, even on a rainbow board, I think that I would still check raise it like every time.
Yeah, like here, I have this sim here in Pio. If we
Yeah,
take a B70 on the flop because I only have a 30, a 70, and a 120, and it's
yeah,
mainly going for the 70, then he's supposed to be check raising his 9-8 like 60% of the time, his 7s and his
yeah,
6s also like 60% of the time,
Yeah,
60,
because he's got
80%.
he's
yeah.
got all sorts of hands that'll call when you check raise. It's
Yeah.
not like you're not gonna get any value.
But what I'm talking about, though, I'm sorry if I was unclear. What I meant was that under the gun here, he has the nut advantage, right?
Yeah,
Which is why we
definitely,
take this part of the reason why we
definitely.
take the smaller size.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but a big part of
that
it
makes
here,
sense.
like this is button versus big blind, is we want to be
Yeah,
value betting our king, our king 8, our king 9, our king jack, our king queen, our
yeah,
ace 10 sometimes, right? Like we're not ace 10 a lot actually. We're not really polarizing to
yeah,
aces, ace king plus,
yeah.
right?
This is an error.
Yeah, because the difference is here if we bet turn, you can see how little king x he has, right? He has the king x with the gut shots on the turn. He
Yeah,
has king jack with the backdoor flush draw on the flop, and then two pairs that are king x, right? So we just want to get a
yeah.
bunch of value from all of his 10x that he needs to practically pure call, you know.
How often
Mhm.
does Ace Jack bet on this board under the gun versus big blind? Because I think I'm pure checking this
On the
Yeah,
personally.
flop, it's a
there's a
pure
pure
check.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right. It works out though, so that's what counts.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
I mean, I'm sure you can find some players where you could exploitatively overbet
Oh
turn
yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're going to be too capped, and you could build out that range.
No, I think most of the time you can exploitatively do that. Like I think if your strategy was almost always like small bet over bet the turn, you're gonna like
Print
Print
versus a lot of players,
yeah
yeah,
you're
versus
gonna
possibly.
a
print the
lot of
turn.
players, but there are some okay players at this pool.
No,
Yeah,
there aren't.
It's
There are
not
the
it's not like
players.
everybody's a fish.
There are the players that trap way too much, and the players that never trap. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, I never trap. I just fast play everything.
Yeah, that
Would-
strategy works great if they don't trap enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that versus me.
But I'm definitely starting to mark I'm trying to start to mark the players that have overbets on the turn in spots they should. You know.
To make sure you're not too capped on
Yeah,
the
that
turn.
makes sense.
Right. Exactly.
And
Makes
that's the
sense.
thing. The thing too is if they're doing that, you can overbet versus them with
Yeah.
value hands, and they're going to be calling you a lot.
Yeah, Dan, we definitely
Yeah.
don't have a call here.
With King Jack, yeah, I don't think so versus big. It does seem close.
I don't, not for that
Yeah,
size.
I don't think
That's
so.
almost 75%.
I think that's a pure fold.
Yeah, I'll look
That's
at
a
Seems
it,
big.
close.
but
That's
No,
a
I,
big
I,
bet.
I do think it is
yeah,
a fold, but I think if we had a bit more equity, like if we had Jack 10 of clubs, and could
yeah,
turn
we
some
could win
open
that
Yeah,
one.
enders, we might
or
be
if that
defending at a frequency.
I
if
think
that
even
eight was a nine,
if
I
we
don't know.
if we had
It's still
Jack 10 of clubs, I think even Jack 10 of clubs is going to be a fold
I think
here.
Jack
I'll
10
look
of
at it.
clubs would be a frequency call.
All right, so the preferred size here is 75%, but it's almost pure checking. It's only well, I don't want to say almost pure. It's checking 75% of the time, and then
Makes sense.
the preferred size is 75%, so he gets it right. This bot here. Um,
He's a bot?
and
Mossman.
then
He
no,
plays
no,
he
no.
plays
So
200.
yeah. So
He's a good one.
all right. So I was wrong here. Um, King Jack is a pure call
Really?
Really?
with the backdoors. Yes, and is almost full calling with the hearts.
Really?
And
No.
Jack 10 is a pure fold.
King Jack of hearts
No,
is pure
really?
calling? No. Bullshit.
King Jack of hearts is almost pure calling.
Hang on, I
It's
think I
calling
have
it's
one
calling
wizard sim
90%
left for
of the
the
time.
day. Give me a second. Button open, small blind, 3-bet button call, 864
It might
rainbow.
have. I
I'm
wonder if
looking
that
at.
has to do with that board
Oh
hits
yeah,
the
I'm looking
button's
at.
range like right on the head. The button is doing very well on
Yeah,
that board.
we
That's
have all the sets
probably
there.
that's probably why. Well, we call the
Seriously?
things like
Okay, no, so the one without the backdoor flush draw is mixing.
Yeah, but
You're
almost
using the
pure.
wrong rake structure.
Yeah, I'm using 500,
Oh,
I
that's
know.
fine.
At 50, it's going to be mixing folds for sure.
It is
it's
the problem.
probably because that board hits the button's range pretty nicely, I would think.
Also,
size-
And we,
At
the solver's
50,
going to
sizing
use.
change.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Go
the
ahead,
size.
guys.
Sizings change when we go to 50. It chooses a smaller size.
at
Really?
50, will we be folding sometimes?
Yeah.
Because we've almost hit the rake cap at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Assuming the
So
50 no inches.
King Jack is indifferent to 75%, and then to 50%,
huh,
it's
that's
still
interesting.
indifferent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's also worth pointing out that part of the reason King Jack can call there is that it's still ahead of a number of their bluffs, can outdraw their value.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot of cards we can bluff on when check to as well, because this board, see that bottom part of our range, or like all those right there. That this board hits us pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
would think.
does.
So there's probably a
think
lot
even
of cards
taking.
we can start going crazy on if he checks
Yeah.
to us.
I mean, to a 75%, like if Dan, can you make this 1/3? Can you just do 1/3 here?
1/3 c-bet?
Yeah. Let's see if we get an answer here. Like, I think taking this raise percentage and upping it closer to like 25% is going to do us just fine here. When we see like this board bet. Like, if he bets like 50% here, I think if we raise, like, just hit 50%, Dan, if you don't mind. If we raise, like, this is going to go to like 8. Yeah, okay, it's like 8%. Like I said, I think if we can get this closer to 25% here and like get some of that stuff
How
in
much
there.
is that the case? I don't know, because I always thought that. And then
Right,
there
so
was one point where
raise here.
Shimmer owned me with a node locked in position raising sim.
So raise here, and then watch what has to call, and then tell me what you think is calling. Think King Jack with the backdoors is calling.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, I
Think King
do.
Queen with the backdoors is calling.
Yeah.
No, Dan, they're not.
I do think they're
even-
calling King Jack at the back
I'm
door.
even folding I'm folding Ace King here. I'm
Really?
folding out ace king here. I promise you I am.
I'm probably continuing king 10 with a backdoor here if you raise me small.
All right. So then
I
like
I'm a
I
yeah.
station.
personally
Wow.
I personally check this board as the small blind like
Right.
You
most
should
of
be
the
checking
time,
this a lot.
and I'm check raising all of my overpairs.
Yeah. You should check it a lot most of the time. He's gonna bet
Yeah, I
small
don't.
as exclusive
I think
size and you
I'm,
should check raise a bunch. Yeah. Here,
but
what? 25%?
I
Pure
think
with
at
everything
50
but
blitz,
aces?
Mm.
I think at 50 blitz though, you can get away with probably maybe even pure betting this board small blind first button because people just fold out all their hands like 4 or 5 suited, and I don't think this board's hitting population in the 50 pool. So I mean, he might know that this guy plays 200 blitz. This Mossman guy, he might just be like exploiting
Well,
population.
he also took the right size here, right? So if he is playing 200, then this is the right size. Like
Yeah,
this was
he's probably just betting everything.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if he knows me at all. Like if
I don't know, maybe.
yeah. So I mean, if he knows me from some of the streams or something, then I don't know. It would be dangerous for him to bet range into me here.
He probably doesn't.
Definitely not for that size. I highly doubt it.
I think that's a good bet though for population at 50 blitz.
Alright.
Take top. We block top pair. Checked again.
I would have bet small with
Makes
the
sense
flush.
theoretically. I would have bet small on the turn as well. I just
Yeah,
think it
that makes sense.
overperforms versus population.
Yeah, he's gonna call all his pairs. I think with a small barrel, a turn barrel, and then I'm probably just blasting the river.
River, I don't know what I'd do, but I do think small turn bet overperforms here. Although checking's fine, for sure. I want to raise.
Yeah, I would probably raise that. It's like small. I'm very like I like to get money in the pot. Like people fold a lot, but like at this point in the river, I think that he's just gonna fold everything.
It's not to me the fact that people fold a lot, but I find that a lot of players notoriously under barrel. They all just play a one and done approach where he stabs turn and then gives up river way too frequently.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah. I
what I'm
like to
scared
just
of
get the money.
here. Yeah, so
Okay.
I do like a turn raise. But he does barrel, so proves us wrong. And
Wow.
heroes the
Wow.
Jack
Did he call that? That's
5.
crazy. Yeah.
Nice one.
Oh wow. I look like an asshole,
Yeah, me too.
huh?
Nice.
So just so you guys know here, I was pulling up the solution on the side. It wants us to jam on the river if I
Really?
take this line. Yeah, like 350% pot. So
Really?
yeah.
I
I
mean,
like
it
it.
makes sense. I think maybe. I guess
I mean, this is the weakest. This might be the weakest. No, it's not the
because
weakest
what?
flush
Yeah.
we're going
Well,
with.
when you raise the river, I mean,
Yeah.
what's he really calling with? He's probably calling with flushes, and maybe like the nut flush blocker or something, or like a
Yeah.
pair plus a blocker. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
But
probably gonna call a bunch of pair plus heart
he's.
and
But I mean,
flushes.
you'd may as well go for it because he might have like small flushes. I guess smaller ones.
And
Is the
sets
solution
as well.
assuming that is the solution assuming that he doesn't have any or much King of Hearts, Ace of Hearts high flushes when they take this line?
That must be.
No, he should have a decent amount of them actually. Let me just look at the suited stuff. What am I looking?
Here, I actually have 10-8-6 monotone.
That's
Blind
interesting
versus
that
blind.
it
This
would jam the
is
queen eye.
yeah. This sim is gonna be
Yeah,
slightly
it's
different.
still gonna have like king high stuff.
Yeah. The one I have here uses wizard's simple ranges, the ones that play raise only
Yeah.
out of the small blind, no limping.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously can c-bet flop, can check flop, it's a monotone flop, everything's a mix. We
How
check.
big did they go on the turn? Like 1/3?
Think he went something in the realm of like 2 bigs
Yeah,
into 5.7. 2 bigs into 5.7, roughly a third. Yeah. So flop, check, check, turn, offsuit jack. Right. So on the turn, queen jack with the flush, we can bet, we can check. We're betting like 60% of the time. And
yeah.
going small with
Something
range, a third, half pot, something in that realm.
something I'm noticing, Matthew, and in the
Mhm.
50 pool, because I've been playing 50 blitz for the past few days, is
Mhm.
that so like let's say it goes check check on the flop, check on the
Mhm.
turn, and he bets two big blinds. Now if you
Yeah.
just blasted like raised him like I don't know 10 to 12 or something, maybe not blast, but you just raise him.
Yeah.
These guys they're calling with the weirdest stuff.
Yeah.
Like he'll call you with like an open ender or like a
Yeah.
pair plus an open ender or something. People make some weird calls. You should just start going for it and like really just
Yeah, there's
it's
also
like
I
I
also
don't
have
know.
another dynamic here where I stream, right? So I mean, obviously I don't have the biggest viewership, but I do have to be concerned with balance.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, there is an aspect here. We don't actually raise all that much on the turn, but he doesn't have very many king or ace high flushes here because a lot of them are going for bigger sizes, just ripping 2x pot on the river. Or not ripping, but going 2x pot on the river.
Yeah, that was
And
that
the
was
Makes
my
like.
thought.
sense.
A lot of
Yeah,
that
Like
but
you,
just mixes into bigger sizes. Queen
the
high
other thing
flushes
is
as
that
well.
we shouldn't have that many flushes either.
Yeah.
So
So when
I
he
don't know how like the
bets,
percentages are.
yeah. When he
Actually, I
bets,
can
we
look.
raise smaller with a lot of our weaker flushes and raise as thin as what here? Straights. So 9-7 is indifferent to raising or calling.
So on the on the river, us in the small blind, flushes make up 4% of our range, and the big blind it makes up 10% of his range.
After he
Yeah,
goes
that
70,
makes sense.
after he goes for the
Yeah.
river bet or before he goes for the river bet?
Uh, this was I was just before. I'm just looking at it before.
Okay,
That what you got? About 10%.
before river bet, after river check, I have out of position having 5%, in position having 10%.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had.
Yeah, or roughly. And then river, after seeing the bet, I think it does just want to jam queen jack of hearts or queen jack of spades. Yeah, it just wants to jam. Our
Oh,
jack high
that's interesting.
flushes and below.
I,
Our jack high
I,
flushes are indifferent between raising small and jamming, and then our weaker flushes just want to go small.
yeah, I don't know how relevant that is in the 50 pool though, because Solver's probably doing that because it knows that he's just not having like the ace high flushes, and when
Uh,
this
Or
guy
very
Dan, can you
frequently, yeah.
Dan, can you have a jam and see what it calls with?
If you have a jam, he is pretty much calling. Can I see here? Will this show me? No, I guess we'll look here. He's pretty much calling some flushes, or all of his flushes, and then sets at a frequency, sets are indifferent, and then nut flush blocker pairs, so like ace of spades, jack of hearts, ace of spades, jack of clubs, assuming the flush is spades, sorry, in my sim.
Yeah.
And then it's
yeah,
actually
because
mixing in some calls, with two pair, jack four mixes calls.
Yeah. It's just trying to find some
yeah, that
defenses, but
makes sense.
it doesn't really like it.
Like ace
Yeah.
jack with the ace of hearts would kind of make sense because you're not going to be jamming, straights without the flush.
Yeah, ace jack with the ace of hearts calls pure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if I would do it ever, but I probably wouldn't.
Oh, against pool, I absolutely would not.
Yeah.
But would you call there? Would you call there with like King Jack with the King of Hearts? You know,
No.
like do you feel like?
No, I don't know. Because it was when you have the ace, it's blocking. What is the small blind versus
Because
big blind? I don't
because
know.
the reason I say that right is because I think people are more likely. Let's just say, right? Like people were making this play more often, right?
Hmm.
I think they're going to be more likely to make that play with the ace of hearts,
I
and
don't
would
think
rather
it
not.
matters.
And
I
would
don't think
rather
it
not block
matters.
the ace of hearts.
I don't think
And would
that's
rather
relevant
block
small blind versus big
It
blind
is
because the
relevant. I don't know if you read the chapter in River Toy Games, specifically the blocker section in Modern Poker Theory. But a
I
lot
definitely
of,
didn't know.
yeah, a lot of that discusses how when you're building a raising range in these spots, a lot of your big raising range wants to be built around having the ace of hearts specifically, just
yeah, but
because it
like
allows you to shove your ace of hearts flushes and or
Right.
your nut flushes and then your ace of hearts nut flush blockers and literally create a perfectly polar versus bluff catcher range
Right.
scenario where the
So
entirety of
so
villain's range will be bluff catchers and you
so
have the
then
nuts or nothing.
so yeah, so then my rationale there is correct, right? Or at least according to modern poker theory, where we rather not have the ace of hearts, right? Because people are more likely to bluff with it.
No, well, the idea
yeah,
in modern poker theory is that if they jam the small blind, you
Yeah.
will never have the ace of hearts because they either have the nut flush or
Hmm.
they have the
the
nut flush
blocker.
blocker with the ace of hearts. So they
Okay.
combinatorically block you from ever having the ace of hearts. That's in a scenario where they're not jamming weaker flushes.
Okay.
In a scenario where they do
Gotcha.
jam weaker flushes, it gets more complicated with other heart blockers.
Gotcha. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So the way that looks in a sim is they're going to jam the ace of hearts blocker and then nut flushes, and then the other player will, according to the sim, call all of their nut flushes and ace of hearts hands, but those are just blocker or ghost flushes, right? Because they don't actually exist. And then they'll
Hmm.
call a bunch of other flushes at MDF.
Huh.
Yeah. At least that's what modern poker theory says.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought we've had like a few interesting spots already, and we're not even that far in. So I really did think this was a really interesting session. Because
Yeah, no, this is a cool one.
last time we did this, we kind of just like it was just a regular session, and we kind of just bullshitted through, you know.
Yeah. This is a cool one, though.
That's crazy. You would call that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I like your sizing though. If they're gonna call, like, if they're gonna hero call you with that,
Yeah, you may as well go for it. You
then
know.
that smaller size is probably way higher EV.
Yeah, they actually might be supposed to call with some of those hands. I don't know. Possibly a small frequency of it. No, they pure fold the Jack 5, Jack 3, Jack Deuce region, but it is indifferent. It's not losing EV to call. Or substantial EV to call. But they should be folding it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not losing EV, assuming
We're
Matthew
balanced.
is bluffing often enough.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't. It's hard to be. I need to have like a
Wow, what
high
a
flush,
size.
a high. I need to have like a high flush blocker and a straight blocker, and that for whatever reason I decided to check and twice and call on the turn.
Yeah. The straight blocker definitely is relevant there because there's supposed to be value raising straights as well for the small
Yeah.
size there.
Yeah. I mean, can I find it? Yeah. Am I finding it enough?
That's
I'm gonna
interesting.
I'm gonna say probably no.
Yeah.
Did I see you fold Queen 9 off on the button, or did I misread that?
It's no. It's very possible that I did it. There's a lot of
I
times
don't.
you'll hear me. You'll
No,
hear me
cut
on
Oh,
off.
stream.
it's cut off. It's
Cut
cut
off,
off.
cut
Okay.
off.
Okay.
I was
Listen,
like,
it happens. It happens. There's a bunch of times. It's not because where I go, oh fuck. I thought I was in a different position. It
Who
happens.
was it that we had last week? Was it Lua Lua playing anti games that we called a nit every single time?
yes, yes.
I think we can build a betting range on King King 3, but yeah.
Yeah, I did a course on Upswing, and it said that the button calling range is lacking a lot of kings. So when it's like a king high flop,
That
you
was
can
Gazzy
actually,
B's module.
yeah,
Shout out Gazzy, great coach.
yeah. We really like the king high flops when we're out of position.
Yeah. We just do a lot of checking in general out of position, but I think on king high flops in
King high is
particular, we
different.
start building out more betting ranges.
Yeah.
Oof, 6x ISO. Wow.
Greedy.
Yeah.
Good,
Might
good
you
sizing.
might,
Good sizing.
you might know
Possibly a
something
read on
about him.
player. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ISO bigger in general, man. It's theoretically correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
6x in position?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
And
But
like
then
way
we have
bigger
to
out of
tighten up.
position.
We have
How
to
big
tighten
out
up
of
though, right?
position?
Depends on exactly what you give
What
their
does that
limp
what
size,
does
but
that range look like?
like
Yeah.
10, 15 big blinds out of position.
What?
Line. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
people call it, but
Yeah.
I just stick
So-
to my standard sizings.
So what does that range look like then? Because if we're going to let's say, all right, so pause this for a sec.
Yeah,
So
you're
like
sick.
when we ISO for 15 big blinds.
Yeah, let's say he limps in the hijack. We're on the button, and what'd you say to ISO to like 6?
10 to 15, right?
Out of position. 10, like huge.
Oh,
Huge
10.
out of position.
What
Yeah.
what about
yeah.
in position?
In position, yeah, I like 6.
It's like 10,
five,
isn't it,
five,
or
6,
something?
All right.
7 is good.
I'll try this, but I'll try it. But I want to know what that range looks like. Does it look more like my 3 betting range
I
when
saw
I do
a recommended range one time, and it was like, I think it was like queen 10 plus or something, queen 10 off or queen jack off plus, and like king 10 off plus. It was like relatively strong, and it was like pocket. This was like a recommended range from somebody. It was like pocket.
What
I
size was
think
it
like
ISOing to?
I can't remember. It was like 5s or 8s plus or something like that. It was pretty strong though.
But
really
like the
want to know
size, what
how many big
size?
blinds.
Yeah.
What's that?
What size was it ISOing to
Oh,
without range?
it was based on. I think it was smaller. I think it was like 4.5.
Yeah.
So, combo. I
Yep.
feel like I just feel like if I went to 6 there, like that's gonna look closer to my 3 betting range there versus like an open. You know?
Yeah,
I don't
bro,
know.
that makes sense.
Yep.
It's probably going to be
Um,
really strong.
That's basically pretty good. I made a well, I didn't make a thread, but I commented on a thread about it
Mhm.
a while ago with a bunch of different
Right.
solutions.
Is this
Uh,
assuming a balanced open limping range here? Or
there
what
is
is
no
it?
such thing as a balanced open limping range, but
A theoretically closer to normal open limping
so
range. You know what I mean?
even okay, so there's two ideas here, right? Like so people have attempted to make balanced open limping ranges by letting the solver have a limping range, then seeing how it responds.
Yeah.
Again, it prefers huge sizes,
Combo,
but
do you
even
mind
without
sharing
that,
this with
Yeah,
me
but
later?
no, the idea I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get across is well, two things that I'm wondering. One, wouldn't we want to be able to ISO wider because if somebody's limping, they're likely a weaker player and we want to get them heads up post flop.
Yeah, so I think that if somebody's limping like a 50% range, if we're opening like, if we're ISOing with like a 30% range, that would probably be really loose, but I think
So
we could get away with it,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
my second point, tying on to that, is if somebody's limping incredibly wide, say 50% of hands, doesn't it make more sense to ISO to a smaller size?
yeah, but you're assuming that they're gonna fold out of like here's the
Yeah, but
thing,
some
right? Like
people will call 10 big blinds.
yeah, like if we were live and you were saying this to me, Tombo, I would be like, yeah, that's 1,000% correct. Definitely do that.
Yep.
You know, like so if we start assuming that that's the type of player we're gonna get, then it definitely makes more sense. But I, I'm not sure
I think people
what the
limping,
folding percentage looks like.
I think people limping and calling 10 big blind ISOs, I think they can still be calling with hands like, 10-3 suited and like, really shitty
That
hands
sounds
like
great.
9-10, 9-10 offsuit. I think
even
people,
even if not, it's like the main thing that's preventing you from just acting ridiculous is mainly going to be how much they're trapping. And
Yeah.
the reason you can go massive in big blind is because you're closing the action anyway.
people do
So
trap
it's
too.
doubly
These
important
fish
to
love
take
to
a
do
note
that.
that somebody's not limp raising aces here, so we don't
Yeah.
get onto
So
here.
let me see if I can. Okay. Yeah, I did find it here.
Also, another question. If we are ISOing to that size, do we also have an overlimp range going along with that?
I
Depends
don't.
on position, yeah. Like small blind for sure, you'll want an over limping
Oh
range.
yeah,
sure.
small. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely small blind, but not like cutoff or probably not even the button because I don't know. Maybe you could on the button. Now that I
Combo,
think
I'm
of it.
definitely interested in this. I'm definitely gonna give it a try, especially after I read it.
I'm
I
gonna
think
give it a
I
try too, and then I'm gonna blame you, Tom, when it doesn't work.
yeah.
You will
I
be
stick.
very surprised at what they'll call it.
I stick. I think
I,
that's true,
I'm waiting to
but
be surprised.
Yeah.
like I've seen people like I'll ISO and I see people like just flatting an ISO with like pocket queens or like ace king offsuit. I've seen fish trapping. That's why like I get a little scared to go in too big. My ISO size is like 4 big blinds just in general. I've seen fish. I've gotten completely wrecked.
Okay. I'll share I'll just show you guys a little piece, and I'll post the link
Yeah, yeah,
or
share it.
the thread to the thing later. But
Hang on, I'll stop sharing for a sec, so it'll...
okay, you can see
Okay.
mine here. So this is the hijack limping range,
Do I have to
right?
close this or no?
Can you guys see my screen?
Oh, hang on, I'm trying to.
I can't right now. Can anybody else see it?
I'm trying to
Thomas, are
figure
you
it out
also
right now.
sharing audio? Because I have an echo on
All right, here
everybody.
we go. I got it.
I think I'm just sharing my screen.
Is it not audio?
I don't know.
I have a...
Anyway, can you see this?
I cannot.
Oh,
Okay,
wait,
hold on a second.
hang on. Let me also
it
pull this
Tombos?
out. Okay, yeah, now
Is
I
it
don't have an
Tombos?
echo.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
see it?
Tombos. Oh, no, Tombos just left for a second.
I just saw what Tombos was showing.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Tombos. Hang on.
I'm gonna leave and come back then too.
Yeah, one sec. Tombos watch stream. Alright, let me
I can
just...
see what Tombos showing.
Yeah, now there's
Okay.
no echo. Really weird, Tom.
Weird. Okay, here it is. Okay. Can you guys see this? Oh, sorry. You see
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
screen? Okay.
Yep.
So here's a hijack limping range, right?
Okay.
Okay. So
So this
they don't have
assumes
like
no pre-flop traps here.
yeah, I just node lock this in, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have like queens plus or much jacks or like ace king or ace queen suited, but they've got a whole
Yeah.
bunch of pocket pairs and suited connectors and suited aces.
Alright.
And so let's say it folds this to big blind.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this experiment, I only gave them 5 big blinds in position, I gave them 5 and 10. In position, unanimously preferred 5, and out of position preferred 10.
What'd you
I
run
did
this on, Munker?
HRC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is like the balanced ISOing range on the big blind,
And
right?
what position is this from? Big blind versus what?
Versus
Hijack?
hijack. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the hijack limps. This is the big blind balanced ISO range. And then here's so very, very funky, but it'll change in a moment. Just hold up
Why
here.
does it favor the tens? Why is it really like the tens?
Because
It's
the tens are
Pope.
like the edge of hijack's calling range, right? Like ace 10, king 10,
Oh.
queen 10. So here we can see that they're massively overfolding. Like all of this stuff whited out is folding. Realistically, they only really have like tens and ace queen in this sim.
So if they peel all of that, we want to become more linear, is that it?
So that was my next question, right? So okay, well first I'll show you here's cutoffs. So basically cutoff is just ISOing like a little bit tighter. Like this is what is this like 21% and calling 2.7.
So we do have a narrow over limp range here.
So like just basically you go 1 seat back. So basically like
So this is the ISO range.
yeah, like a hijack except more top heavy shit.
Yeah,
and
you gotta think too. People can 3-bet you too, so you gotta keep that in mind.
Tombo,
Yeah.
are you using this?
yeah,
And
HRC.
how's that working for you? No, how's the strategy working for you? Are you
Oh,
using this
you'll have
strategy?
to try it yourself and tell me.
Yeah, Tombos
Oh,
does
you-
not play
Oh,
ever.
you're sending me out there.
Yeah, you are my guinea pigs. But actually, I've had a
God.
bunch of people use this strategy and with good results.
Okay.
I think it really depends on personal preference too, because there's
Yeah.
different types of fish. I mean, some of them are aggressive. They'll check raise you with nothing. Sometimes they'll check raise you with over pairs.
Did
Or,
you ever
you know,
run a
sets.
sim, Tombos?
I think most of those limping fish though are mostly going to play their hand very face up.
Yeah.
Most of them, I think, yeah. But
Tumbos,
some
did
of
you
them
ever
are
run a
some of them are
sim with
tricky.
pre-flop traps as well?
Limp-
If you add some pre-flop traps to the open limper,
I have, yeah.
what
Yeah,
what
it's
effects does that have?
the preferred sizing will go down,
Yeah,
but the typically like it'll obviously depend on the exact range you give them. Um, so for example, Zenith had charts where there were open limpers,
yeah,
and basically the limping range eventually disappeared, but it was like a super polar limping range with
yeah. I
complete
remember it.
trash and aces and shit.
Yeah,
Again, the preferred sizing was big because you had to go big enough to discourage them from limping.
but
Um,
slightly smaller and tighter,
much
I assume.
much tighter if if they're trapping a bunch of aces and kings and stuff. Yeah, way tighter, but still big.
Yeah, also
Uh,
dependent on how much aces and kings they're trapping, of course.
yeah, and this is of course the problem with node locked solves. All of it will depend on your assumptions, but
Well, that's a
as
problem
far
with
as
every solve.
I've had some friends do some data analysis on the 200 NLZ pools on Ignition, and their
Yeah,
solutions
that's what
came
I
out.
play.
Yeah, theirs were very similar, and it was just a ton of massive
See,
ISO raises.
it's funny because like the fish in that pool are very face up. They're not trapping. They're not limping aces. They're not doing anything like that. But like the 100,
Tavo, for the life of me, please share that with me.
I will, sir. I will. Let me find the 2+2 thread, and I'll
Yeah,
just post it on
send
general
it
here.
over my way. Good. Yeah, I need to see
Yeah,
that as well.
it's a fun one.
I think it depends on the stakes you're playing, like what types of fish you're playing with,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
it's
always
personal
take
preference too.
note every time I see somebody open limping. I'm taking a note. What showdown do
Yeah,
I see? What hand does he have? What do I think this range is built around? Did he limp fold? Did he
Yeah,
limp call? Did he limp raise? What did he do?
yeah.
You know, because
I,
it's so
I,
player dependent.
I
yeah.
pretty much only note like a limp re-raise. I just want to know that.
No, I don't
I think
note any showdown with a limp I see.
my standard is just a 4 big blind raise to ISO. That's just my standard unless I have a specific read on a fish.
I tend
Yeah.
to
Maybe we
do
can go
4 as
bigger.
well, but now I'm gonna do 6 or 10. So,
Yeah, let's fucking see what happens.
Go huge, guys. I'm telling you, like they'll
I'm gonna
call
try it.
dumb shit. And here's the thing, like a good majority of the limpers are not, gonna hit you with that balanced limp 3-bet
Yeah,
strategy.
no, you're
yeah.
Most
telling
of
me
them are
limpers
just
aren't
gonna
balanced
No, that
players?
they don't usually do
Yes.
that.
So even if you get punished sometimes, the amount of fish that are gonna call your 10 big blind ISO with complete trash just makes it
I
worth
think
it.
they will. I think they will. That's just my personal
Actually, I
preference.
have a curious question for you. When you did do, this is just my curiosity, when you did run the limp ranges, in open limp ranges, including some traps, like a little bit of aces or the like, if you ISO so big to say 10, how much of the aces was just playing a limp call at that low of an SPR?
I think exactly ace ace would call sometimes depending on which
Oh,
position it is,
sick.
but
Oh,
the vast majority of it would just 3-bet, and
yeah,
then eventually it reached like a 3-bet fold strategy if I pumped the size up enough.
obviously, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's sick. Okay.
yeah. It's a bit gross, but it's so much fun.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it.
Do it.
I'll keep you updated.
You'll message me thanking me later.
Hi guys,
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
Oh,
Who
what's
is it?
up?
Oh, I just saw a black SMD. All right.
Yeah,
how you doing, man?
it's Nordin.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, fine. It's cool to see you because it's been a long time no vocal on this Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we usually, yeah. Alright, today we were reviewing Matt's, gameplay from some 50 and L Cash. He said it's a really good session, and so far it's been living up to the hype, so
Oh,
fingers
yeah, we're
crossed
nice.
it continues.
10% through it so far.
10%? Bit more. We're 16 minutes into this, is like a seventh of the way through.
Well,
Oh, that's not bad.
it's only an hour of play. There's
That's
like
not bad.
45. There's like 45 minutes of review.
Okay, I see,
And
so we're like a quarter in.
I got
You
another
you
hour.
you stopped now. It was before, like 2 hours before. No?
This was from like a week ago.
Yeah. Alright, thanks, Tom.
Yeah, it's posted the link in the general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can 3-bet, can call, and low numbers are aggressive pre-flop and high post-flop. That's it, right?
How to play against limpers?
Alright. Queen 9-5. Definitely want to have a big size. Definitely want to have a small size.
And are you showing the I
He's
can't
not
see the
streaming. You
Oh, I'm
gotta
not
share your
streaming.
screen.
Ha!
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I didn't know
Alright.
if he was like reading the post or
I was
No,
confused.
no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
that's what
no.
I thought.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I stopped streaming when Thomas
Yeah.
was
Me too. I was like, what the fuck?
Alright, hang on. Oh wait. What happened to my OBS? My OBS is also showing a black screen now. Hang on. Is this gonna fix things?
There it is.
Yeah.
No, wait, why is my OBS showing a black screen now too?
Tombos, what
Hang
is
on.
what is the
Wait, has
the
my
thread?
OBS been showing a black screen this whole time? I think I just showed a
I have
black
no
screen for
idea.
this entire recording. Oh my god,
Uh,
Rob's gonna kill me. Ah!
Come again, SMB?
What is the thread? The thread you sent in the general channel?
Oh yeah, I node locked some limping ranges to see how the solver responded, and I was talking about to these guys about using huge ISO raises. I think it's the best strategy.
What? Sorry, can you repeat?
When someone limps,
Yeah.
raise big.
Yeah, sure. From UTG or every position, like, because the thread is per results.
This was, I mean, it depends what limping range you give them, right? Like it won't matter their position. It just depends what you plug in. But yeah, in general, in all cases, ISO
Is
huge.
Isolate
Right.
huge. Like how many big ones? Like huge.
Like 5, 6, 7 in position and like 10 or more out of position.
Yeah, sure. I did this since the 3 months. It works very good. Okay.
Yeah. Rob, I'm sorry, don't kill me when you see this. Just watch the start back with the YouTube video that Matt posted. I got the thing streaming properly now, but sorry about that. Alright. God, last time I recorded something on OBS there was no sound. This time there's no video. I really just can't do this.
Huh.
I don't know how you do it as a streamer, Matt.
oh, you fuck it up a lot.
Alright. So yeah, 6-5, low frequency 3-bet versus early position, but low numbers are aggressive,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Alright.
I think you can do that in small blind too versus under the gun.
Yep.
Yep.
Alright.
Oh,
And-
same goes for like small blind limp. You want to like if you play a do any of you guys play a limp strategy in the small blind?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh, it's a little overpowered if you know the limp 3-bet really well. I'm not saying it's good
I
at
have
50 and all.
charts, but
Like
Isn't
you-
it
you
just
certainly-
like a mix of everything?
Yeah, kind. I mean, what isn't in poker? But
Yeah, that's true.
I think that I think I have charts for it. I think the guy that I got the charts from was saying that it's not very relevant at lower stakes because of the rate.
Yeah.
certainly not. But the limp 3-bet strategy, like you can again just go massive. Like you limp, they raise to 3.5, fucking 20 big blinds, right? Just huge, ridiculous shit, and it'll work surprisingly well.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway.
probably supposed to call pretty wide because they're in position.
Yep.
Wow. Alright.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Crazy limp strategies aside, let's proceed.
Alright,
Yes.
Queen 9-5 Rainbow. I'm assuming, Matt, we're playing both a small and a big size on this board?
I'm pretty much. I hope I'm mostly taking a small size here.
Yeah, I think a small size makes more sense, but I don't know. I'm sure it does big bet.
I think a big bet also makes some sense, mainly with our kings, aces, ace, queen region.
We're
Some
far
queen
less
nine.
polar here, you know. So
Yeah, it's just a board where the board can change pretty significantly on future streets, you know? Like if the turn comes a 10,
let me look at it.
it's nice to just be able to rip your
Yeah.
kings in there and say, okay, good luck, you know?
What am I in here? The big blind.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a spot we'd want to have a big bet range as well, but I think we're gonna have a small
Yeah,
one too.
because I think the big bet makes sense because in these positions you're flatting things like 10 jack suited, and you have all sorts
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it mixes all the sizes at 50.
Yeah.
Let me just see what it's doing at 500.
Usually we like to have a big bet here too, specifically built around like overpairs, top pair, top kicker, or some two pair. Never sets
Yeah,
because those severely block continues too much, so sets always go small. But
yeah, it makes sense.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's mixing all the sizes. It's completely indifferent.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say your hand. I don't care really what you
Yeah,
do.
if we go small, or, I mean for even 50%, we can probably just bet range on this
Yeah,
board.
yeah. Queen high
I don't know
boards
what
are
I do
really
here.
good
I don't
versus
remember.
early position because they can't flat ace queen off, right? They have to four bet or fold it. I know that it's I think we could probably just range bet this small blind versus low jack, but big blind we're a bit more polar, you know, slightly lower betting frequency.
Yeah, take a look at this. It's almost a pure, almost it's high enough to be pure.
Even in the big blind?
Yeah, even in the big blind.
Alright, hang on, let me check this spot. I'll have it somewhere. Um, I likely will have it somewhere at least. Let me see. General, 3 bet pot, out of position, big blind versus low jack, rainbow or two-tone sims. Do I have this? Queen, 9, 5, rainbow. Yes, I do. Okay.
And what rake structure do you have this at?
This
Just the
is 500 zoom rake
yeah. Then you're gonna
and
get the answer I was looking at. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
500
This is the
zoom
same
rake in
thing.
that thing. So yeah, pretty much range betting and mix of sizes mainly going
Yeah.
big. 6-5
Yeah,
prob
it makes
yeah,
sense.
6-5 does mainly want to go big, which makes sense because we do have the blocker to pocket fives, right? Which is somewhat relevant. And the
I,
backdoor straight draw.
do you guys think that the small bet might underperform a little bit here, though?
No, I
Uh,
don't think so.
I don't.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you why. Small betting here I might like it better because with this
Yeah,
particular hand, I'm almost always betting the turn. I already know I'm betting the turn here with this hand.
Pretty high frequency, yeah, on a lot of turns. But the big bet just makes a lot of sense here. Like, yeah, you see the range. Big bet is pretty much
Yeah.
ace, queen, kings, aces, queen, nine, and then bluffs, essentially.
yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Right, like that's what we're building this around. It's very common on these queen 9, queen 10 boards, because then, you know, the turn comes something semi-wet, and you can just shove those hands that really want to shove.
Yeah.
Alright, so we go small, I think.
I don't know what we do.
Yeah, we go small, which is
Yeah.
fine.
I'm not,
It's not going to be an
yeah.
EV loss, but turn jack of hearts. Are we barreling this?
Jack Hearts
I
is
mean,
like one of my least favorite cards.
We
Like
have
the Jack is just
so
terrible.
many draws that we can
I
just
hope I
barrel
give up.
here. I
this
think
this
we
has
just
to
give
be
up.
give up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just give this up. I mean, we can check it, but I think it's very likely to just be a give up. If we bet small, he calls and get a turn jack of hearts. Six
Yeah.
five, yeah, only barreling 6-5 of
Yeah,
hearts.
like put something
Or
in
actually,
like
hang on,
I mean if you put a deuce in here, it's always barreling, right?
hang on.
Like
Yeah, it's
deuce of
this
hearts or
suit to
something.
miss.
I'm an idiot. I just realized this is a three bet
Yeah,
pot.
it's a pure check. Yeah, we
Yeah.
three bet big blind.
Just
Wow.
If the
change
turn
this to the
comes just a deuce, let's say a deuce offsuit,
mm,
6-5.
yeah.
Actually, it's not barreling very high frequency.
Okay. I'll let
Yeah,
you know I'm barreling this.
6-5,
So
no
you,
backdoor
It
flush draw
like
barrels like
it
half
likes
the
the
time. The other one's pure
yeah,
check.
it likes the ace five more, but I'm still going
so
with
I'm
this.
sorry. We're betting this flop almost pure.
Almost
Yeah.
pure, yeah. Queen high boards are
Huh.
really good versus early positions because they have to
Yeah,
four bet or fold ace queen off.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So versus late positions, it's the same way jack high
Huh.
boards
Yeah,
are insanely
that's a,
good versus cutoff because cutoff has to four bet or fold ace jack off.
yeah,
Like that cutoff
that's
point versus the
interesting.
positions performs really well.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And we use a bunch of big bets, but also some small bets. And then turn, yeah, we're not barreling this here.
Oh yeah, that makes yeah. So you technically you're basically crushing on this board. You would think
Yeah, we are. I
range versus
knew it was
range.
a range bet from the small blind. Big blind was a bit more complex to me because we're three betting more polar, right? But
Hmm.
oh, Tompos,
Yep.
are you streaming something?
No,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I'm just looking up the solution wizard. You can
Oh,
switch
okay.
back and forth. You don't have to change anything, but Yeah, I don't know. The reason I'm not a big fan of the small bet is just
Okay, here,
because
hang on, I'll
it's
pull up your stream
so
for a sec.
so
Yeah,
easy to
I don't really
continue with
like the small
everything.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find folds in their range, like
Yeah.
really hard to find
Yeah.
anything that folds.
Especially with 5-6 suited, because it's like, what
But
turns are you gonna barrel?
I'm gonna barrel a ton of turns here.
Are you?
Jack was just my least favorite one, man.
Well,
It's just always gonna hit like his continuing range, right? Like, you know what I mean?
We should really just be barreling the turns
Like,
that give us draws, though.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what?
pretty much like the only things I'm barreling like an ace, an eight, a seven, five, a four, a three, a deuce. Like the stuff towards like like it's barreling a king here, but I don't even know that I love barreling a king
Well, the
here.
king's
I
better
feel
for
like
a range, right?
Yeah.
The ace it doesn't want to
yeah,
barrel.
it's just like then he's gonna pick up like a lot of gut shots and stuff that's gonna be hard to like get him off of. And do I really want to triple this? Not usually.
No, but if he's
I
picking
mean,
up a gut shot on
yeah.
the turn, if it's a gut shot without a pair, right? He's gonna fold, and if he
Well,
doesn't fold,
he
that's
should
even
have a
better
gut
for
shot.
us because we have a pair.
He should have some gut shot. His gut shots should have a pair by this
Most of the
point, right?
time, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm
So-
deviating from theory, but it's just a simpler way for me to play.
So what hands are you barreling? Like when you pick up
Oh, like-
any sort of equity, is that
No,
the
you don't.
card?
No. Like
Or is it
ace
like
five
range
here, like
cards?
ace five here is like a pure barrel for me, and it's a pure barrel in theory. The
Well,
other
I'm
thing
talking
with
about.
that. So if we can look back at the solution, you saw ace five is pure barreling, right? Ace five is a pure barrel for me here, right? And
Not in wizard
and
apparently, but or wait, hang
it's
on,
not.
what is this, Tombos? I can't tell.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at turn
On
reports.
bricks it barrels really hard, but on
No, but this is
other turns
just
it doesn't.
showing our report on the turn, but
No,
not
that
our
was
specific
specifically
hand.
ace
No,
five.
so give me a hand, like ace five suited, for example.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our overall strategy
Okay.
across turns,
Okay, I
but
didn't
then
know we were in a specific
ace five
part.
suited
Okay.
particularly will look like
Yeah.
this, right? And
Okay.
then if I
Well,
say
I was talking about 5-6 suited. Like what
Yeah,
so
turns are
here-
you barreling?
like
So
here's
personally-
six five.
Kings
Yeah,
and low
Personally,
turns.
for me, to make sure that I'm finding enough
Success.
bluffs, and again, this is like people are overfolding turns.
Yeah, so this
Um,
makes sense. But why kings?
yeah.
Why exactly are we barreling kings?
Because it's a great card
King-
for our range.
Yeah, rare for a range. Yeah.
Huh? That's interesting. I haven't done a lot of studying versus early position.
But that's usually the case in any 3-bet pot, right? Like when a king comes on the turn, it's just so good for us. Just like any king high board is good for us on the flop, when a king comes on the turn, it's just incredibly good for us.
Yeah, I
As
agree with
the
that.
aggressor.
I just don't. I personally don't know how much different early position is versus like button because I do a lot of versus button
Yeah.
studying.
Same
Well,
here.
you got to do early position too, because
Yeah,
otherwise
I do.
your strategy is going to be far off,
Yeah.
because you got to remember how much tighter everybody is, and he'll have like ace king floats here too. You know, like
Yeah, because I know that I know early position is going to be a little different. Well, a lot different than button.
Yeah. I've mainly
would-
just
I would
studied
think.
c-bet strategies versus early position,
Yeah.
and the rest I kind of just guesstimate.
so like ace king off here it calls like 50% of the time. He has ace
Versus
queen.
small, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like so. It's just he has some stuff there he's never gonna have on the button. You know, so you can't just.
Yeah, I know he has a lot more like high card hands. Wouldn't he? Versus the button because the button
Well-
has so many hands.
It's
I don't know. It's
his
something
his percentage. Yeah, you gotta start.
I'll
You gotta
just
look
have
at
to.
it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just have to do it in my own time.
This is also worse. This board is better than against the button, because against the button he's going to have a ton of ace queen off.
That's
which he doesn't
true
have
too.
now, which is really
Yeah.
crucial.
That makes
Like
sense.
his ace 10 stuff, you know, with all his ace 10s, his ace jacks are gonna stick around usually. Like he's got all like the king queens.
You're looking for queen high boards, Tom?
Yeah. Just looking at the overall flop aggregate reports here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
queen
as
and
you can
king.
see, I mean, just king high boards, right? Like just
King high
just
boards
very-
are great for
very
us.
typical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
You
think
know?
that's got a lot to do with the
Yeah.
just all of these bluffs, like a lot of king X
Yeah.
stuff in
Can
here.
you look at it also just small blind versus under the gun? Because I think then queen high is going to go way higher.
Yeah,
or
for
even
sure.
small blind versus hijack, either position. Because then we just have a more linear range. We hit it more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even more so
Queen
because
high
of
goes
this
even
very
higher.
linear range for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at this sizing on like an 8 high board, like tons of
Yeah.
75%
Vomit.
stuff.
Yeah,
this is
Yeah.
pretty This is pretty
I
typical though, right?
I knew
Would you
that.
say?
Yep. Yep, pretty
Yeah.
typical, I'd say. Anyway,
It's also mainly on the
Yeah,
more
that's
disconnected low boards. If it comes something too connected like 8-6-5, we don't use much big betting.
that's
Well,
because
we don't do much betting either.
Yeah, that's true
well
too.
we have
8-7-6 is a
and
range check.
we have these big bets on these low flops versus early position because we're trying to get value from their like pocket nines and pocket tens,
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of those lower
We're-
boards
we're more
interact
polar, right?
less. Yeah.
Yeah.
The lower
The way
boards
to think
interact
about
less
that-
with both players' ranges, so we're basically
Right.
saying we have a bunch of higher overpairs, you have a bunch of lower overpairs, I'm going to stack you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're checking more, but we're being more polar when we bet. That's
Yeah.
that's the idea.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
makes
Yep. Range checking.
We
Yeah,
were
this is
range
This is very common
checking.
too. Yes, this is very common across a lot of 3-bet pots. These three broadways. It's very, very common.
Huh, that's
in
a
the
lot.
Wow.
That's
pot.
completely different versus the button because that's like slam dunk bet
Look at it.
versus the
Look at
button.
look at this board. Look at
That
this
is
board
wild. That is
against the
wild.
button. Look against this
Against the
board
button?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look against the button.
Go ahead.
Okay. Small
Yeah,
blind.
because that's I
button.
think that's a slam dunk bet board.
Nope.
Seems like it at least.
Against the button, it's betting a bit more for sure.
Half the time, yeah.
Look
We
at- can you
seriously-
go to the aggregates here?
Yeah.
There's definitely some. Maybe I'm thinking big blind, but there's definitely some.
Like small blind versus button, I think this is
Yeah.
like slam
Can
dunk.
you look at the big blind? Maybe I'm getting confused.
Oh, sure.
There's 3 broadways.
You can just filter for
Maybe.
3 Broadways, Tom, if you want.
Sure.
Let's say not aces, just Broadway cards.
Yeah, no ace, no ace,
No ace.
no ace.
And not paired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King,
Well,
Uh,
Queen Jack 10 is
uh,
obviously nutted because you
yeah,
know Ace King.
king, queen 10, right? I mean, it's pretty.
King Queen 10 is
pretty
pretty
low.
low.
I'm definitely maybe I'm. Yeah, but I just know like. I'm probably misremembering, but I know there was like a bunch of these spots where it's like, oh wow.
I think
can't
this is
believe
a
this
It's
is
because they
so
call it
terrible
ace
for-
jack here, right? Like, do they have
Yeah.
ace?
Yeah,
They
they
probably
have
have ace jack in full. Yeah, a lot of
No,
ace
it's
jack.
gonna bluff 4-bet sometimes, but a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think this is a preferred small size too when you're the blinds versus a button on a board like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's tricky because it like these high cards aren't that fantastic for your range. Even though it looks like it, especially if you're playing a very polarized strategy with a lot of these lower
Yeah.
Yeah.
cards, it's not that great as much as it looks. Like small blind isn't too bad
Because
against
we're
button,
more
but-
linear, yeah.
yeah, and you have more of these broadways in range. But if you're using, and I noticed Matt used he 3-bet like Jack 5 suited, so I assume you're using a very polarized strategy.
Yeah.
In this spot, yeah. In which case, these are not your boards, even though it might look like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
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 Well, the big blind has a lot more like suited pairs and stuff.
Yeah.
Suited pairs.
I mean suited
Yeah.
suited connectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we can go back to
Suited
the
pairs.
review.
Something wrong with the deck.
I'm just fucking around here.
Yeah, no, it's a very complex range to construct, the big blind 3-bet range. I basically do it by just randomizing absolutely everything into a 3-bet.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it has a lot of suited gappers and stuff.
Yeah. 5 any hand, doesn't
so-
matter what, it's getting thrown in there at like 10%.
Yeah. If this was some other card, I'm taking a frequent barrel here though.
Yeah. Alright.
I'm trying to hit my 5 outs.
Well, that's the issue, right? Your 6 isn't even always going to be an out if you barrel here.
This is true.
Not all
This-
that
yeah,
often.
oh, well, on this card, on this card for sure.
Even on most cards, the 5 probably will be. But the 6 not always.
Good check.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just felt wrong to bet here.
Yeah. Definitely.
We don't quite need to bluff this on this river, do we?
No,
Um,
this is not the bottom.
It
I
feels close,
personally
but I
would
don't
just,
think we do.
It's
yeah,
very close to the bottom, but it's
Yeah.
not
It's close.
the it's
Yeah.
not the bottom because there's enough king X
I
and
think
ace X
I think
trash.
we have to bluff
Yeah, but
like
so much
ace
of our
king
king X
here.
and ace X trash is barreling turn. That's what worries me. Like, it feels
I like-
close. I don't think we do, but it does feel very, very, very close. I can
Hold on,
check.
let's see. Yeah,
Jack
check
of
it.
hearts,
I
check,
feel like ace
check.
king here has to bluff.
Four
I feel
suited
like
to the queen.
I feel
And
like he's just gonna
we're actually
disrespect.
indifferent. We can bluff. We don't have to.
Okay. Yeah, look at how much ace king is bluffing though, and ace
Yeah,
10
that's
is pure,
Yeah.
interesting.
obviously.
Ace king is bluffing
Yeah.
pure unless it has the
Yeah.
spade because it sucks because we don't block suited queen X.
Yeah.
I feel like he's
Yeah.
just gonna disrespect your riverbed after checking the turn.
Nah, you'll be okay.
I know I
Uh,
would.
I do agree there are a lot of people that here. I've definitely been called by ace king after betting this river.
Yeah, I used to be the type of person who was like, yeah, I don't know about, yeah, and I
Yeah.
Yeah.
call very light
That's
on the
one
river.
Don't
thing.
worry.
Low
Make a
stakes
note and you'll
players.
get punished on the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. But low stakes players, in my experience, really station bet check bet lines way too hard.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
definitely.
about that.
I think they do.
I
likely.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I give up a lot personally.
I don't give up. I bluff all of my mandatory bluffs, but my bluffs that are indifferent are usually leaning towards checks. Yeah. So we
You
check
do you,
six. Hmm?
you bluff if you think they'll overcall.
If I think they'll
Why would
overcall,
you do
I
that?
still bluff my mandatory bluffs in theory, because I'm not confident enough in my reads to move any mandatory bluffs into pure checks. But I don't bluff my indifferent hands.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
he had king jack there, right? And I think like
He had king jack.
he should so he should be raised. Like the thing is, when we have king jack there, guys, just fucking go for a raise like 50% of the time. You
On the
know?
flop?
Oh, what
And
flop?
yeah, like and do it like almost always with like the diamonds here. You know, just
How often?
like,
I wonder how often he's actually
just
doing
do it.
that in the solver though.
Almost never. Oh, a ton.
I doubt that
Really?
much in position.
Hey,
Why do you
Yeah,
want the
I think in
diamonds?
position. I think
Yeah,
in
we're
position wants
raising
to
have
call
like
less,
more.
what,
because we have less equity with the diamonds.
4% of
That's why.
range here?
Don't you block more folds when
Yeah.
you unblock the backdoor flush draws? Wouldn't you want
So
to raise with a heart, club, or spade?
No,
Like, if-
because we don't want to fold out. We don't want to fold out our, like, if we get jammed on here, right? And we have king jack of clubs, right? We're folding out more equity than if we have king jack of diamonds.
Well, yeah, like it
That make
makes
sense?
sense, but I think like
I
if
don't
you
think that's
just
the cutoff, though. I do agree with you that I don't want to start really raising open-enders here, because then if we get jammed on, we're folding out a ton of equity. But I think king jack
we
with the
might be
backdoor
folding.
flush draw versus
Yeah,
without is close
like-
enough. It's the
I
same
like
principle that I don't know if you've ever studied big bet, C bet ranges, like small blind versus button, 3-bet pot, or the like. But our open-enders, particularly those with the backdoor flush draw, pretty much never
Yeah.
go big because those are the hands that don't want to get jammed on.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think some like when you call a hand like an open ender or even a gut shot, you have pretty decent opportunities to bluff like the river too, and then get people to fold when you're just calling down instead of raising. I think you have pretty good opportunities to bluff.
Potentially,
Right.
yeah. In position, there's also just not
In
all that much
position.
raising. We're only raising like 4% on the flop here in
Yeah,
theory.
because you can just call and bluff at a later street.
you got to note, Dan, start node locking this, and then see what like what you think people are gonna fold. And you tend to overcall in these spots, but you give people way too much
Oh,
credit.
I'm a station. I'm an absolute gigantic station.
Dan, every single time I join your guys' stream, someone points this out. You're giving people too much credit.
I
Dan.
always give people too much credit. It's a huge flaw. I mean, I probably am. I don't know how many people here are going to be floating hands like Jack
I
8,
promise
10
you-
8 with the backdoor
Look
flush
at,
draw
look,
here at a
look at
frequency.
King 5. Look at King 5. You think people are three betting this?
Is this-
I am.
75% of the time?
You're taking
Get
your
out of
bottom
mind.
Is
set
this,
blocker and you're
listen,
shoving it in
listen,
their face.
Listen,
I love
listen
it.
to me. Listen,
Is
Dan,
this
I'm not
imposition
disagreeing with
trade?
you. I'm not disagreeing
This
with
is
you.
no, this
But
is out of positions. Okay, here I'll make it a bit bigger. This is out of positions range after c-betting flop small and getting raised.
Dan, do you
Oh, I
mind if
see.
I say
Okay.
something publicly right now
Yeah.
to you about your game? And you are incredibly knowledgeable about theory, right? You have a very good grasp for it. Your biggest problem right now, I guarantee you, is that you are putting that knowledge, you're assuming that knowledge other people have. And what you need to start doing is you need to start realizing that everybody is garbage, right?
Yeah.
And you need to start thinking like that because that is going to help you immensely. I promise you.
I
I
think
100% agree.
you
I
see,
mean,
I
most
have
people
the
aren't
issue
garbage,
because
though.
honestly, my thought process used to be everybody is garbage, and then it was decent for my game, but it just brought me into this mental state of whenever I went into a downswing, it would kill my mental because it would be like I would just be thinking constantly, I'm losing to all of these players and they're all
Yeah.
garbage, and it
Then
just
you just start
pained me.
And you
Then
just
you
start
start
looking at the
questioning
variance.
life.
No, you start looking at the variance calculator again, and you reassure yourself, and you go back into the, into your lab or whatever, and you just know that you're doing the right
Maybe.
thing.
Honestly, though,
You know,
giving people more credit has actually. It hasn't really
Yeah.
helped my game, but it's helped my mental in terms of surviving downswings.
I feel like we should force Dan to play like 500 hours of live 1-2 just to
Yeah,
just force him to play this.
Tombos,
yeah.
in my
You know
life,
what?
I
Actually, I
have
agree with that.
played 1 day of live poker, and it was 1-2, so probably like 8 hours of live poker in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, people online, like even at 50, you're gonna run into some pretty decent players, but it's like the majority are just fucking splashing around. Like, does everybody know Wolfkind?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot. Huh?
He's terrible.
You gotta respect
Terrible.
the man's grind, though. He is a
Oh
sick
yeah,
volume
he does
grinder.
like 24-hour
Bro,
streams and shit.
I'll watch him for like 5 minutes, and I pick up like the
Nothing.
amount of information I have on him is ridiculous. Like I know where, like if he was at my table every time, I could buy a second house right now. Like it's just,
You gotta respect him, though, for that grind.
grind it into the ground all you want,
Can't be worse than Brad Owen.
Yeah.
You gotta respect Broad Owen's content grind, though.
He does have some good content, right?
Yeah. Alright. So...
All right, let's get back to the poker.
So yeah, so 6-5 on the river, this is indifferent. We can bluff this. We don't have to bluff this.
Yeah.
I think I do like leaning towards a check there.
I think in position with the King Jack though, real quick.
Yeah?
I think if I was in his position and I didn't pick up a Jack on the turn, and it checked all the way down, I think I'm pure. I don't know. I think I'm bluffing King Jack in his position though. If it checks all the way down, you know what I mean?
Bluffing or value betting?
No, bluffing. So like if the turn wasn't a Jack, let's say the turn was like an
Oh,
eight,
I see what you're saying.
and then it goes check check and small big blind checks again. I think I'm pure bluffing the King Jack
If
just
the turn
because.
comes like a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd
And then
bet
it goes
turn
check,
really,
check.
really often if turn came a brick.
Oh yeah, there's that too. And then if it's a call, I'm probably jamming the river, right?
If I bet turn, I'd probably use what size here if I bet turn? Half pot?
Half pot, yeah. And then if it's a call, and then
A brick
check on the
river.
river, yeah,
and a
brick river,
check.
you're probably jamming, right? With the King Jack.
I like it.
If you look at the sim, it's a pure check.
Really?
Yes. What we're supposed to do is, say it comes like brick, so like deuce 3 of other suits. We want to just take all of our low hands here that unblock the folding range, 8-7, 7-6, and then take our ace 10, I suppose, blocking ace queen, and ace 8, and those type of hands, and just ram those and pure check all of our jack X here. It does not want to have a jack, it wants to pure check our jack X. I suppose that makes sense since villain is peeling.
Is capping his range
Well,
when he
not
checks.
peeling, but is he check folding queen jack on the river? No, he's check calling it. Interesting, but yeah, we want to check our jack X here. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
still
it's a
like
weird spot.
I just
bluffing
wanted
a
to know.
gut shot. It's a cool line.
I do
Yeah,
like
I
it
like.
too.
I
Yeah.
probably overbluff in those spots.
That doesn't make it a mistake though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to tell us that after that ace-7 offhand the other day, Matt.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
I think I could have folded something out as strong as ace queen there.
Yeah,
I'm not.
if you look at the sim for that spot, actually, because like it's an overbluff, but it's not a punt EV wise, right? If he's overfolding, it's gonna perform well.
Yeah.
And the button's supposed to pure call ace queen and then mix all of his weaker ace x.
Yeah. And if I'm getting him to fold out all of his weaker ace x,
Then it's gonna
right,
turn a
and I'm
profit.
yeah, I'm crushing.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is there? That line, right? Nobody's taking that line with ace 7. You know, like, and then nobody wants to call there with ace jack. Like, I'm not calling there with ace jack. I don't want to call there with ace jack. I'm going, oh fuck. Like, this is like 2 bluffs and mostly like a ton of ace king, ace queen can do it. You know, like ace queen can do it for.
I don't think
To
ace
even
queen can do it. I think
keep it.
it's ace king plus.
But here's the thing, right? Is that in that line, right? Yeah, of course, ace queen's going to run into some of it sometimes, but ace queen's going to be able to even probably get chops off.
No, he never folds ace queen.
Solver never folds ace queen.
Yeah, solver never folds ace queen. I probably fold ace queen there sometimes. Maybe not.
Exactly.
Maybe I started ace jack. I don't
I'm
know.
definitely. If I'm calling there, I'm moaning it in.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm not fist pump calling ace queen. I'm going, oh my god, do I really have to call this, and then potentially calling it. Alright, so what was this? We 4-bet ace king off, blind versus blind. 10-5 deuce. I have not studied 4-bet pots. Can we just range bet this?
I have no idea.
I'd
You
probably
can-
range bet it. I don't know. I have no idea.
Probably not.
No?
We're still pretty wide.
Yeah, we are.
I am wrong. Apparently, you can range bet this.
Is this
wow.
I would.
is this a factor of the 5 deuce really hitting like our ace 4, ace 3, ace 5 suited region? Like if this is 10-6 deuce, can we still range bet?
No, I think it's because all your overpairs are
It's just
overpowered
that.
on this
It
board.
also-
What happens on
it al-
10-6 deuce? Just humor me, Tom. Do we
We
still get to
also
range bet?
kind of. We also kind of surround the 10 a bit.
You're right. Little more checking now. A little more checking.
There is some checking on 10-6 deuce?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so that is a
Um,
factor. How much checking on 10-6 deuce?
30%.
Oh yeah, there you go. Ha!
You're right. You're right. A little more.
Yeah.
But I think that might also have to be with 10-6 deuce connecting the 10 and the 6 a bit more, which hits a lot of their calling range.
Possibly.
But yeah, on 10-5 deuce, it does like a range bet. To my surprise, I think that's because your jacks plus are very overpowered, and a lot of their middling suited connectors like 6-7, 7-8, stuff like that just
Yeah.
doesn't connect well here. So
That's true. Yeah.
let's see what happens in game.
Yeah, let's see it.
I'm going to agree with Dan here though. Like not just the ace, the ace 3, ace 4 stuff, but we also like a lot of our like king 9, queen 9, jack 9, right? We're doing more 3-betting around this region. We probably have more of this than even like our king 10, queen 10,
That's
So
true.
we have like
Yeah.
we have a ton of backdoor potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That
don't
makes
know if that's
sense.
the reason, but just looking
Yeah,
at
you're
it.
probably betting to try to realize too. I don't know.
Oh, so we go big.
Damn, that's a
Ooh.
big bet. Holy shit.
Just use 50.
We're supposed to range bet here for 50?
Well, it is 50-25, but yeah,
50,
I'll use
Yeah.
50 here, I guess.
I would have
But
gone
bigger.
50 if it was a little bit more connected. If it was like 10-6 deuce, I would have gone 50 and bet less often. I
Okay,
think I would have
yeah,
just
yeah.
gone a
Alright.
quarter here with range, but maybe
Yeah,
50 is
Yeah, I
fine
like
too.
the quarter size.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't
Personally.
studied enough 4-bet pots to know.
Yo, the thing is, right? Like, if we just go, I don't know, something like a cutoffers button there. I wonder what sizing it's doing.
No clue.
The same flop. Let's just take a look.
I can't check. If you look
Probably
at my
small, I would
yeah.
think.
If you look at the sim library on my computer, I have a ton of spots for 3-bet pots, single raise pots, in position, out of position, everything, and then I have no 4-bet
Yeah.
pots.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutoff button is very similar.
Yeah.
But I think that's a lot of it has to do with just hitting the 10x bluffing region in your 4-bet range,
Okay.
as well as, again, your overpairs being quite strong
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Alright, ace king off. Makes sense. I do like the slightly bigger bet. Think we can still play a substantial amount of checks here though, and I do think we can check ace king off sometimes.
Yeah, I think
Never.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Never
Really?
checking it. Never.
I'd
Well, I
rather
mean, when the
bet.
guy,
I think I'd
Too
pure bet
strong.
king queen off because we don't have like king queen off and ace is bad. Ace king off it doesn't really matter. So I think I'd
Too
pure
strong.
bet my king queen off and mix in some checks with ace king.
the thing with the cutoff is, I think when people cold call those positions, just the call out and open, I think they're calling with a lot of pocket pairs
That is true
as
too.
opposed to the button. As opposed to the button. So I think he's going to be pocket pair heavy, the cutoff. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just tend to be a little bit more cautious
I
in
mean,
spots like this.
you have
I
all the
guess.
data from playing on Ignition, so you should know. You should be able
Well,
to.
ignition's a lot different. I think the blitz, the 50 blitz pool, people are just. It's like I have pocket fours. I'm calling in any position. They don't even care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, a bet's probably good, but I would just keep that in mind. I guess
Not
Yeah, I
sure
it
think you
just
how.
should.
sucks.
I think
It
you should
sucks
bet
when you.
this. I mean, the
It
main
sucks
thing
when you
is
bet, and then he calls, and then the turn is like brings in like a draw, and then it's like, what do you do here? Do you check? It's like you don't know
No,
what the
we
hell is
bet.
he trapping.
No, no, you bet.
yeah,
You bet
just
again.
barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree
Listen,
with that part.
listen. The thing is, right, Jr. The point you're missing, I think sometimes, is that you're gonna hear from him, right? And when you hear from him, and you're like,
Then you
oh,
can just
I
fold.
get it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know.
I think you should consider checking if you think they'll reopen the action on the flop. But
I think
as JR said, they're going to check back a lot because I think they're
That is
pocket pair
true.
heavy,
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
because of that, I like betting more than I like checking.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely makes sense.
good point. Alright. And then 9-10, I don't know why we go for half pot on this flop.
Yeah, I would check that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you think?
we
I don't know.
we're gonna bet it sometimes. We rolled
Oh yeah,
100.
I'm sure.
I'd
Yeah,
go for
I
a
mean,
third or a check on this flop, and I don't know why
I
we're betting this hand for half pot particularly. It just doesn't make sense as a half pot bet.
yeah, I think the
Sometimes,
small bet's like pure, isn't it?
Yeah, like building out a half pot size might be fine, but I don't see why we do it with second pair here.
Well,
Or
I
second
think
pair
if it
middling
was
kicker.
like, I don't know. I think the bigger bet makes a little bit of sense.
well, Matt likes to merge a bit, though, right?
hmm
Yeah,
uh,
I think it makes some sense, just not that much with this hand.
yeah, because I'm never taking like the 75% usually out of position. So this is pretty much like a third or 50%. It's just easier to simplify here.
I'm sure there's big bets on this board.
I don't
Very
think
little.
so. I don't think there will be any
Really?
big bets on this board. Out of position here, I don't think so. There really isn't that much big betting blind versus blind here. Hang on.
Yeah.
I don't know
Um,
blind versus blind at all.
I
It's
can.
not. You're right. There's not a lot. I'm looking at it right now. There's not a lot. It's basically just. I mean, if you simplify it to just 33%, you'd be fine.
King 5, King 9 5. King
I don't even.
9
I don't even
5
know.
rainbow. Yeah, I don't have 50% size. I just have a 30, a 70, and an overbet.
it's fine.
And yeah, it's doing like 7% overbet, 2% 70, and then 60% small bet. So
Yeah.
overwhelmingly small. But yeah, 9-10, it just didn't make sense to me as a hand selection if you're gonna build a big bet range. I don't see why this hand. Think we can barrel small, think we can check. I do think barreling small overperforms, so I want to take that line. Okay.
Not my favorite river.
No.
What do you guys think of his call? His turn call? I think it makes sense.
What,
Definitely.
check calling turn? Oh yeah, I think if you do check turn, it's just going to be a pure call when faced with a bet.
I think
Yep.
you got to call a lot of rivers though. But there's so many bad rivers, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I would have
pretty much-
preferred betting turn for like 33%.
So when the heart comes in and he bets his size, I'm never calling here. But if the
Not
heart
without a
misses,
heart.
yeah,
What if you had a heart in your hand?
no, if the heart misses here and he goes something like this, I'm calling at a frequency for sure.
I mean, what's his
I
bluffing
wonder if
range going to be here? It's going to be a bunch
Yeah.
of queen jack with a heart, maybe without a heart, jack 10.
Yeah.
Do you think he's bluffing like
That
pocket
range.
threes with a heart?
No.
I don't think he's
I don't
supposed to
think
be
he's gonna do
bluffing pocket threes here. I think that's too much showdown value blind versus
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah, he's supposed to bluff maybe something like ace four with a heart.
Maybe ace
that he
4.
calls
I
on the flop.
think. What's the cutoff for having too much showdown value to bluff here? Probably something in the realm of like ace 10. It's too much showdown value to bluff.
Yeah, ace eight's well, ace seven's probably that cutoff.
Maybe ace 7. Yeah, I don't know. We
Yeah.
can check.
Ace seven probably has to bet.
Yeah.
So Matt, you're not
Bet
calling this
small,
bet if you have a heart in your
call.
hand?
It's
Turn-
not influencing me
yeah.
enough, no.
Turn king suited to the thing. Oh, okay, we're not using that much small betting. We're mainly going half pot or 2/3. And 10-9 can bet, but it's mainly checking.
Alright, let's go. Keep
Interesting. Yeah, check. He bets. How big was it?
Yeah, it's like half.
Yeah, half pot. Half pot. We have a pure call. I'm assuming. Yeah, pure call. And river was the 8 of hearts, and he goes 70% ish.
Now, JR, now if we look at this with the heart, it's definitely gonna call some more. But it's just like when I think about what floats and then what bets twice, it's just
Yeah, 10-9 with a heart.
yeah. Kind of different.
Actually, it's not the heart that it matters. Oh wait, sorry, I put the wrong suit out there. I need to put a diamond on the river. Sorry, because I have a different sim here. 10-9 with a diamond calls. Well, with the 9 of diamonds calls pure.
Yeah.
So 9 of hearts
Right.
essentially. 9 of hearts calls pure.
Yeah.
10
And
of
then the
hearts it
10
doesn't care very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just weird blocker noise. So
No, I
Yeah,
think it
that's
makes sense to
interesting.
me because a lot of his like Jack 10 with a heart, right? And that
Uh-huh.
realm is going to be bluffing. So I think,
I get what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it blocks bluffing range as well, which is more relevant. And
Yeah.
then 10-9, no heart is a low frequency call, mainly a fold.
So the heart's relevant having it in your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mainly the
But
9 of hearts.
Specifically, no, I thought the 10 of. Oh, yeah.
No, it
Why
wants
are
to
they-
have the 9 of
Oh
hearts
yeah,
to
yeah,
call.
yeah. You're
Because
right.
the thing is, right, when we have the 9 of
Yeah.
hearts, we block
no.
value in flushes,
Yes.
but we don't block bluffs because he can't bluff 9x.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He
You're
can bluff 10x
Oh
with
yeah,
the
that
10 of
makes sense.
hearts.
Yeah.
So the 10 of hearts is less relevant and the 9 of hearts. But yeah, we're still just calling it a frequency, not all that often. And his bluffing range here is mainly made up of what? Queen Jack apparently can't bluff. Queen Jack is too much showdown value. All of our ace X is checking. Yeah, he can't bluff. Queen 7 is his lowest, is his weakest hand that he can bluff with. Or strongest
I don't
hand he
know
can bluff with.
if I
Queen
would say it
7's the
has too
cutoff
much
here.
showdown value, but they're checking it back. How often are they checking back overall in your sim?
In my sim, on the river, they're checking back half the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Sir,
Is it
fair
too
enough.
much showdown value? Well, Queen Jack has 0.3% pot showdown value.
So no, so it's you just don't have enough value to get too fancy with too many bluffs.
Potentially. And Ace X has 1.6%, so that is significant. Like Ace Deuce with 1.6% is somewhat significant. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how much you can bluff depends how much value you have. Right?
Yeah, because they need to balance their range, theoretically at least. Oh, you do call. Oh, and you get him with the 10 of hearts.
Correctly. Oh,
I actually
Whoa.
don't like that call. I'm surprised. Do I have him marked pink? Is he marked
You do.
pink?
You do have a mark
Okay,
pink.
then it makes sense. Then it's fine. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
fine.
what does
But
pink
it's just
mean?
a spazzy,
It
spazzy.
means spaz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means that we give him the ability to just do more bluffs.
Well,
That makes sense.
in my sim,
Yeah.
your hand was roughly a 6% call, so this is a
Yeah,
theoretically
if-
sound call to frequency
It's-
anyway.
if we have this player marked orange or purple,
Never calling.
or blue, yeah, never calling.
Yeah.
But the pink tag got the call. That was the only reason.
Well done.
Yeah. I just want to check the ace-4, yeah.
Snap checks it back.
Yeah, the snap check I'm not so sure of. I do think we're
Oh.
unlikely to be pure betting this, but we can probably bet it sometimes.
So just so you know, I do this with pairs too.
Yeah.
Snapchat back.
I mean, this is a terrible board for us. Our EV is very low. We're not going to have a very high betting frequency. I think on the flop, actually, we're supposed to go 70% instead of overbet because we can't even bet for an overbet size because this board is just so bad for us. If I'm not
Gotta
mistaken.
balance that snap check range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely do.
Alright. I don't mind the check, but the snap check to me seems... Alright.
You'll see me do it when we have like top pair too.
No, I just
Maybe
think there
not
should be
this
some consideration to betting that hand.
I get what you're saying. Slow down. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Okay.
Like, I think we could potentially bet it. I don't mind the check, but I'd like to think about it. Kings. It's a good hand. Are we going to get any action? We are. Because you haven't been getting a lot of... Whoa! So let me get this straight. You've been complaining about not getting a lot of action with your big pocket pairs pre-flop, and you're facing a 3-bet?
We're 250 hands in. I think that's the first big pair I have.
Alright.
For science.
Besides.
For science.
What do you think the small blind has, Matt?
Oh, he has a normal 3-betting range here.
No, like the small. No, like
On the left?
on the left table. Yeah.
Oh, mostly.
What do you think
mostly Broadway cards.
I think he's got mostly pocket pairs, honestly.
Did he call or yeah, he must have called.
He
He
just
called. We see bet flop small. He called. The
Yeah,
real
he's
question
gonna-
is, if he checks, do you value bet? Because I do want to value bet this river if he checks.
No, it's way too.
No. Don't.
I
He
think
is a
it's,
fish. He's a
uh,
fish who's gonna have pocket fives or ace high, and you're gonna get value
Yeah.
here. I want to value bet.
Yeah, I think
You're
it
gonna
makes
get
sense.
called
Maybe
by
like a
ace-5.
third.
It's way
Maybe
too
like a
thin.
third size makes sense.
A third would be fine. I think I'd straight up go like half pot, and I think I'm gonna get called enough by a fish here with
You
his
guys like
pocket
ace high or
fives
pocket
or
fives.
ace high.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
like
that
the
makes
ginge
sense.
bet here? You like the ginge bet?
I could honestly get behind a ginge bet here, straight up. Straight up,
Okay.
but I do want to bet this river.
Okay.
Oh, now he bets. Well, that takes the
I'm
question away
snapping
from us.
that off. I'm
Yeah.
snapping it.
Easy call.
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh.
Versus
I
big
hope-
bet? Yeah, I
hope
do
you
like the
call. I
call.
want to see.
I
You
do
guys
wanna
are
see
so
a call here.
confident. I actually hope I call and it's wrong.
I do want to
I
see a
wanna
call
see
here,
it.
actually. I agree.
I don't know if I'm calling.
I hope you do. I want to see this.
Getting in with kings against ace king.
Are
That's
we going to
nice.
hold? Oh, you do call. Let's see it. Ace queen.
Nice.
Yeah.
What an
Yeah, I
overbluff
guess you
by
were right,
him.
Matt.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
But you
had
see-
overcards.
Okay,
Yeah,
first
bunch
of
of
all, it's
broadways.
nonsensical that he's bluffing that. That does put a huge question mark into do we want to value bet this river if he checks? Because if
Yeah.
he's bluffing this, what does he have to call us if he checks?
I think he's betting for value, like mostly like the pairs that JR is talking about. But I'm actually really happy I don't remember this session that well.
Yeah, I do like your
yeah.
call. I I do like the call for sure, but yeah,
I don't remember what was the line here. I bet the flop, check on the turn.
he calls
Yeah.
pre you small bet flop like a
okay.
third and then check turn.
Okay, I guess not the worst then.
No, definitely like the call. Do we hold the ace king too? We also, I mean the kings. We also hold the kings. Wow.
Yeah, I bet you
I
he's
think I
paying
remember
way
that.
more attention to the kings than the one on the left.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit.
Maybe that's why you called river.
Yeah, not paying attention.
Yeah. I don't think ace king wants to bet this very often at all.
Oh no, I think it's.
It's probably a mix because it's a monotone flop. I wouldn't use 2/3 on the turn. I'd use like something smaller, half pot. think
Like
half
half
pot.
pot.
That's bigger because that's 75%. So
Yeah.
we went even bigger than that.
No, I think I'd go like
Yeah.
half pot. I'd want to go something slightly
Okay.
smaller. Yeah. 75's probably not bad though. And then river, clear, valley bet. Now I just want to go like 75%, 2/3, something in that realm.
The ginge.
The ginge. Okay, so what's the logic behind the ginge here, Matt?
Well, we're never folding, and I don't know why I did this. Right now looking at this, I was hoping I went 75, so I don't know why.
Yeah, I would
can't.
have liked to see something in that realm, 75, 2/3, whatever. But yeah, all right.
Trying to induce the bluff raise? No.
Ace
I was
five.
just thinking that.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a waste of EV.
Yeah,
Ouch.
missed some value there.
yeah.
Pocket fives, I just
Oh,
want to
Matt.
check, but I could get behind betting. No, don't fold this. You have a club versus a third pot. You're not folding
Stop it.
this.
I'm definitely folding.
No!
Snap fold.
No, why are you folding this?
Because that's the right fold.
That's a good fold.
No.
I think
No.
when
It's
it's
a
when you're
three-way
at it,
pot, man. Come on.
You're versus
And
a
I think
third pot with a backdoor flush draw and
All right.
pocket fives.
Dan,
when
look, it's three ways. You
Yeah.
don't have to take on the entire burden of defense. You got the other guy there too, right?
Nobody
Yeah.
cares about the burden
Well,
of
when
defense.
when you're at a position for it's a button, you do want to do a lot of calling in general.
But we're also three ways.
But three ways, yeah, there's that too.
Three
What,
ways.
well,
of
if you were
easy
if you were
fold.
heads up, would you hold this too, or would you call? If it was just you and the button.
It depends on the player. I don't mind releasing this hand.
Okay.
I think this has got to be a pure call.
If I
Yeah.
had fives without a club, I'm snap folding. But with a club here, not defending
Yeah,
this just
'cause
pains
you get
me.
that extra equity, and you got a
Yeah.
pair.
I mean, we're doing pretty. It's pretty hard to play this on the turn, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, all right. Even if we get another club here and he bets again, I mean, I really don't want to call this hand, right? And then basically,
Well, they
against
don't
any-
always barrel
right?
the turn though.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
always, right? But the thing is, against any bet on the turn, right? I'm pretty much have to fold.
I mean,
Unless
this
Unless
guy's a
it's
fish.
five.
I wouldn't be
Unless it's a
surprised if
club.
he's showing up here with pocket threes after betting this small.
I mean, yeah,
You-
it's definitely possible,
Like-
but like, it's
What-
my,
all
my
right,
hand's
so
just
what-
so impossible to play.
So let's
Let's-
look at your
let's-
path to winning this hand. You can turn into a bluff, make them fold. You can pray they give up, and that fives is good, and that they don't.
I
hit an
think they do
overcard.
give up a decent amount here, so.
Or
What if
you
we-
can draw to two outs, which is
What if
why
you
you
call-
want a club.
What if you call in the turns a club and he barrels?
I still
Do
have
you
to fold.
do you call again?
I have to
No,
fold.
I don't think I do.
No. I don't know what I would do. I think it depends on the
I
size
think
of
he
the
has
hand.
enough bet give ups that I want to defend fives with a club.
I mean, if you think, I don't know. We'll have to.
Alright.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Okay.
I don't think folding's a
It's
punt,
really
but I would
hard.
have defended that. I would have stationed him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very small EV call, right? Like if I'm playing good enough on the other streets, you know, and I don't know. I can't say that I am.
Honestly, I don't even know if it's a theoretical call. I've never seen a
Yeah.
multi-way sim in my life. God knows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just What was I in? I was in the hijack.
You were hijack, yeah, hijack open button
Yeah.
flat.
I mean, we could just look at this.
I mean,
Just
there
to
is
get a
more.
heads up.
There is more money in the pot that you are essentially fighting for.
Yeah, but
but
Tom
it's
is
still-
right.
it's
The
still
burden
versus
of
a third.
defense is lower.
It's still versus a third though.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on. It's like, why is this not working? Because I'm. in
because
reports.
when big blind
Alright.
overcalls, right,
Check.
and button stabs, his
Yeah.
bluffs just underperform
mean,
compared to how they would in a heads up pot because there's both the big blind and the hijack that could call, so they don't need to call as much to make his bluffs
Yeah.
indifferent.
We're pure calling here in a heads up.
Yeah,
Right, but we're winning 0.4. and
0.4
0.3
bigs.
big blind.
0.3
Yeah,
bigs.
so-
Okay,
And then without a club, we're mixing. So
mixing without a club. I would
Yeah.
have gone even more to the extreme. I would have pure called with a club, pure folded without a club. But
yeah, I mean that's fine. You're
Yeah.
indifferent, right?
yeah. Heads multi-way, maybe it becomes a fold, but I just want to call that.
I think button's supposed to stab pretty wide on these flops too.
Yeah, but he's also supposed to stab not as wide three ways, right? So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I'm talking heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah, heads up you call just as part of like not getting run over by bluffs.
Yeah.
Right.
Multi-way, that's less of a problem, and let's be honest, your hand is gonna have a bitch of a time realizing its equity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will, but uh,
And
Because
having
like
the club only really helps you hit a set that doesn't complete a flush. That's
folding
like
a
the
pin.
main.
Yeah,
That's the
actually,
main reason, right?
that
Yeah, I
was
wonder if
interesting.
you
I
ever.
don't know. You remember, Tombos? You were in a Zenith study call the other day where you brought that up
Yeah, with
to
Josh.
to Josh. Yeah, I think that was the only thing I learned in that entire call. Yeah. No offense to Josh, but he was kind of all over the place in that. Like he did not have a.
He wasn't well prepared.
No,
No.
he was bouncing back and forth from one thing to the other, and it was not well organized. But props.
No.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
teaching's hard.
it is very
Yeah,
hard.
it is. All right, King six. What was this? We check flop or no? Okay, so he min raises pre. We defend. He goes small on the flop or how small half pot, and we peel. Slightly smaller than
Sure.
half pot. This is probably a peel.
Mhm.
Yeah, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. We probably do need to peel this. Turn, what does he do? He checks, we check back. Sounds good. Or, I don't know why we're stabbing this.
I don't mind it.
You think
Yeah, maybe half
exploitatively he's
pot.
gonna have a bunch of one hard hands that call, don't raise, and then just check river to west and we.
All right,
Yeah,
so I'm looking.
it's
So I'm,
fine.
so I'm looking at this queen six.
You can get value from
Fold.
worse hands, definitely.
Queen
Yeah, I
six
mean,
pure folding.
Because if he's got like ace high with the ace of hearts, that's calling every time. Maybe even like a jack or something.
Well,
Yeah, the jack or a 10 would call.
I think another point is they should be raising sometimes, and it's possible they don't.
that's a big factor. Like the reason you don't
Yeah.
want to go for these small thin value
It's
bets
because they're
is
gonna
that
raise and you're gonna have to
they
fold your equity.
more specifically bluff raise you off your
Yeah,
equity, right?
exactly.
That's probably not going to happen too much given. Well, I'm just labeling this guy a fish given his line,
Yeah,
um, and his min raise.
yeah.
Even though some good players are doing that now, but that's beside the point. So I like this small thin value bet. I think it's
Disciples
fine.
of Clanty. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
like
I think
I
I would subconsciously do it.
I do think these small bets do overperform on the three flush boards on the turn a lot, but I
There-
just wouldn't do it in position here.
So there's two things that I think I kind of discussed with another hand here, which is, I can't. I just want to preface this, which I can't, you know, guarantee this with any empirical evidence. Is that I think people over c bet in
Flops.
these types of spots, right, out of
Potentially.
position, right,
Mhm.
and then there's a lot to be gained by just betting small here and then freezing the action for the river and then just
I like
folding out like a bunch of equity, you know?
I like the turn bet. I think it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And your point about buying a showdown is valid, especially given that they've likely capped their range pretty badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pure checking the river. Unless you hit like a queen or a six, then maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, makes sense. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, dude.
I
Exactly
mean, like
that.
I don't know. I don't
often
know.
how often there should he be check raising that river? I mean that turn, like
I don't
if
know,
we just
half
look
the
at it.
time, 60%.
Yeah, but is
If
he
he
really
checks
supposed to
turn,
bet the flop though?
he can bet the flop
That's the
sometimes for
thing.
sure. Backdoor nut flush
Yeah.
draw,
Ace,
backdoor straight
okay.
draw.
So
Guarantee you he's range betting.
in this line,
I think it's almost close
ace
to
five.
range bet. If it was rainbow, he might be able to range bet this flop.
Okay, so here's a little bit of our point, right? Is that ace five here with the heart, pure check raises.
Pure check raises. Sick.
Ace
On the
six with,
turn?
yeah, ace six with the heart, pure check raises. Ace
Yeah.
seven with the heart, pure check raises.
Yeah.
Ace eight, excuse me, with the ace of hearts. Let me preface that. All those with the ace of hearts,
Yeah.
okay? Pure check raises.
Pure check raises. Yeah.
Right? Ace four, pure check raises.
That's interesting.
And because he's not check raising,
We're gonna over realize our
You can
equity.
get-
Yeah, yeah,
you can go way thinner for value.
yeah.
It's a nice exploit.
Yeah, I like it,
I
but
do
the check
tend to
raise
do
is
that a lot,
interesting.
just not in position. I haven't gone that crazy yet. Maybe I will. Yeah,
The check raise is interesting. I
yeah.
wonder that must be pretty solid play. You know, the check raise. I think you generate a lot of folds from that, especially queen six.
It's probably
Oh
also going to
yeah.
barrel a lot on the turn, though. Ace 5 with the Ace of Hearts. Or Ace
Oh
6 with
yeah.
the Ace of Hearts.
Yeah, but it barrels a ton.
Yeah.
So Master Blaster, we're assuming this guy's a fish, yeah? I like his name though. That's a great username.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we check flop seems good.
Yeah, I like it. I think if it was like king 8-3 and you have an 8, I think you could probably maybe even bet that
Well, there's
because
more
your pairs.
incentive to bet because there are more overcards we can fold out.
Right. But with the jack being so high, I think it's more of a check.
I don't know. I'd
I
still
think
frequency bet it, but
Would you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely checking a lot. Makes sense.
But I can get on board with that idea though.
Yeah.
There you
So we
go.
check call seems good. Ping a 10. So you didn't tell. You told us the session was interesting. You didn't tell us you were sun running.
No, stop it. What are we up? Buy-in and a half or two buy-ins, something like
I
that.
think the two buy-ins, something in that realm.
Yeah.
So this jack 10 on the left, I think that like just going for it with
Yeah.
like a pot size bet or something huge because it's like I don't know. I think whatever he's calling, if he's calling a bet period, I think he's probably going to call a big one. You know what I mean? I don't think he's calling a lot of small bets. I could be wrong. I don't know. Just the way the hand played out, I would just go for it on the river like a pot.
I just use two
interestingly, there's
thirds
a
as a
lot of turn
default
donking.
sizing here, but
Yeah. Really? I'm actually not
Yeah.
surprised by that because of how little ace queen he has and
Yep.
how much
well,
ace
he
queen
has
we have.
none, right? It's gonna pure three bet
Yeah.
pre.
Yeah.
Mm,
So he
yeah.
has a sliver of it, I think.
No, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could call it none. So
I don't know. I just like it looks like there's a lot of draws that miss. There's a lot of he might even hero a ace high hand if you bet big. Maybe I don't
yeah,
know.
he's
I
gonna
think
have a lot
going
of spades here that are gonna have to bluff.
Yeah,
I think going big here makes sense.
Yeah.
I
Oh
could be
no, it
wrong.
definitely makes sense. No, it definitely makes sense.
yeah. I tend to just use 70% here as a default because we're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, that
capped after checking the flop, so we don't have too many
yeah,
hands
that
that want to go big. We're after
yeah, I
check
like the seven.
calling flop, but I could definitely get behind pot. I agree with you.
I know I was saying something because anytime the mouse circles like that, I'm talking.
I don't know if that was your
But
mouse or my mouse though.
oh, okay, then I wasn't talking.
Calling the raise with deuces against Milky Way,
Yeah.
Frequency call, I'm assuming.
or
Yeah.
maybe because you're deeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
deeper, probably more of a call, yeah. And versus half pot, just letting it go, yeah.
No, but if that board just like as a thing, if that board was like, you know, ace 5-4, I'm probably taking a raise,
With a gut
especially if we're
shot
blocked.
on ace 5
Yeah, that
4,
makes sense.
I wouldn't play
Yeah,
it as
but
a raise, but I'd probably peel.
Yep.
I
I would
don't
probably
think.
just call.
I think versus
and
half pot on ace 5 4, I wouldn't play any raises whatsoever.
so and then well, there's two reasons why I'm going to take a raise there. Again, well, I'm going to hope I want to block two of the suits, so maybe not this combo, like maybe diamonds, hearts, but people will oversee bet those, right?
How
And they
relevant
definitely
is having deuces here, the blocker wise,
It's
even
just
with those suits?
it just helps me with my frequencies.
No,
That's
but
it.
like
It's not
what? Yeah, because
it
what
has some
deuce X
relevance.
hands does he have? He has ace
It,
deuce off.
yeah,
Is that
it's not
it?
terribly yeah,
It might just be ace deuce off. I don't know.
yeah, it's not terribly relevant, but it definitely helps with the
I'm not a big
frequency.
fan of raising in position in
Versus
general.
bigger bets and three bet pots, I usually just simplify to never.
You're definitely not winning as much as you could.
So,
I just don't like it as much with draws. I'll do it for as like value or protection. But when I have like if I had like a gut shot here with pocket twos, I'm
Yeah.
fine with just calling a bet.
I just
And
wouldn't play
if
raises.
he checks the turn, then then you can start bluffing and trying to get him to fold. You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just a bigger fan of bluffing in position as opposed to raising.
Yeah, like here, if you look at it, this is a sim for ace 5 4 two-tone, right? It almost always wants to go big as big blind, which is actually pretty common because of the polar range composition.
Yeah. Can you
But
get it to go 50%?
I don't have a
50% we're
half
not gonna.
pod size. I have a
Okay.
30 and a 70. Versus 70, we play no raises, of course.
Yeah, but
Versus
that's very
30,
common.
we're raising 2% versus 30%.
Yeah.
Like it's just
So
not much of a thing to raise in position on
yeah,
these textures.
yeah. So I want you to just think about this for a second, though, right? Because I want us to look at out of position, right? And then we can use threes here as our analog, right? So
Yeah.
so I'm looking at this on GTO Wizard. It's using 50%, 20% of the time, 33%, 28% of the time, and basically nothing for 75%, and it's checking 75% of the time.
Yeah, it
Excuse me,
should be checking a lot.
50% of the time, right? So when it's supposed to be checked this often on these ace high boards, and people I think are just devastatingly
Betting range.
over C betting. Yeah,
Well,
C
the
betting
the
range.
5-4 hits the button's range pretty good, I
In
think.
general,
Yeah, yeah,
though, when the big blind three bets versus button, there are very few ace high boards where we're c betting range, if any.
yeah,
Like ace
Oh,
high low cards sometimes, but like
yeah.
disconnected
So
static ace high boards, not really.
now, now, Dan, can you hover over your threes here?
This is in response to a 30% c bet.
Yeah, nothing. All right. What about sixes? Sixes. Okay. So just it doesn't choose threes here for whatever reason, right? But can you
If you want, I can
can you
check
make
the EV difference.
yeah
EV difference of raising or calling threes, according to this, is going to be
two?
2% pot.
Okay. So I just think like maybe it's not the perfect combo here. I'll have to look back at my notes, but you're just you're just gonna create so many overfolds that
Yeah, but what happens when he calls, Matt? Are you barreling the turn? Or are
it
you giving
depends.
up?
No, so here's the thing, right? When we have a strategy that we believe creates overfolds, right? That means that his range that he brings to the turn is going to be stronger, right? So we're not too in love with the idea of betting again,
So
right?
yeah, you're just gonna give it up.
Like
That makes
yeah. So
sense.
so let's just say for instance that in theory, right? That raise there is 25%, but we say we're going to raise it 100%, right? Because we think that we create overfolds, right? And then when you look at that node locked sim, right, you're going to see that you're checking way more because now they've come to the turn with a stronger range,
For
right,
sure.
than
Yep.
theory. So we need our response is to check more. That doesn't mean we always check. It just means that we check more.
So do you think the value you're getting from them over folding is gonna be greater than the amount that you're raising? Because when you raise the flop, you're putting a lot in. You're raising it to what, like 25 big blinds?
Uh, 22.
22. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird because if I was c betting range here with like king queen of diamonds, if you
Mm-hmm.
raised that small,
Mm-hmm.
I could potentially, I would probably pure peel another card
Mm-hmm.
with the backdoor flush draw. You know what I mean? Or the
I thought
backdoor
you were gonna
straight
say
draw.
you'd pure
So
stick it in his face and rip it, and I was gonna
No,
be so
no.
happy.
so now so now I'm looking at the solution here, right? And if you're pure calling there, you're over calling. So I'm getting you to make a mistake one way or the
Well,
other right now,
it's
right?
just such a
Yeah.
small raise though, because you have to put in
It
12
is a
to
it is a small
into
raise.
12 into
Yeah.
65 or something. That's
It is a
Yeah.
very
Hey,
common, though. It would be very common to use a small race size. I just don't see the point in position as much.
so something
yeah.
else I would like to point out that's a little off topic here, and I totally agree that if they're calling too value heavy, obviously give up more on the turn. You've
Yeah,
already extracted most of the fold equity.
agreed on that
But
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an excellent point. But something else I wanted to point out here was look at their three bet size. It's fairly small, which means it's going to behave very differently than the polarized strategies that Wizard
Yeah.
uses.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
that
can
makes
you can
sense.
use the complex ranges for comparison for this smaller three bet size, and like these ace high boards like ace 6 6 are going to barrel a lot more frequently given the more linear range.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, when there's a lot more money in the pot, I think the
Although we
I
were
think
talking ace 5-4, not ace 6-6 actually, but
Okay, yeah.
for
But
God
same
knows what
idea.
reason.
Ace high is going to be
Ace high boards c bet more, yeah.
just in general. I mean, everything will be c bet more, but ace high
Yeah.
boards as well. So always keep in mind the shape of the range
Yeah.
construction. It's going to be very linear here, as
Yeah.
most players are using a linear strategy with 2008 charts.
When it's more polar here,
yeah.
they should actually be mainly playing big bet or check on
All
most
right.
ace high boards.
All right. So,
Yeah.
Dan, before can you just bring up Ace King 4 Rainbow?
Ace King 4 rainbow.
Yeah,
I
three
will
bet
see
pot.
if I have it. I should.
Okay.
File or
Or like
here.
Ace King 5 or
This
Ace King
is
3.
big blind versus button.
Yeah.
Load other tree in the same folder. What do I have? I have Ace King. You want rainbow?
Yeah, Rainbow if you got it.
Rainbow, I can do Ace King 3 or Ace King 5. Your call.
Ace King 5 is fine.
Ace King 5 it is.
Yeah. Just curious what your sim looks like here.
Um,
So you should be betting.
Flop, I have big better check betting 30% of the time.
All right, yeah, that's because we have a polar range here, right? Because we're taking the bigger size.
This is a 12 big blind 3
Uh,
bet. This is the
yeah,
500 L general ranges. Yeah.
we need it. We need it more against like the complex range.
You want to share your screen with the complex sim, and I can just.
Oh,
Let me see what it's gonna look
I'm-
like.
Tombos, are you looking at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it on my end.
Okay, here I'll pull
You
it
have-
up then.
Can you bring it up with the complex?
Is
Yeah,
this the
I'm-
complex, Tombos?
Yep.
All right.
All right. So what's our sizing here? It's smaller, right?
It's mixing between a polar size and a smaller size.
10%.
go-
Love it.
Can we go like 25% here?
You can. It's not as preferred.
Yeah.
I can change that to all if you prefer, but
Yeah.
I think it's easier to see it in a graph personally.
Hold on
So
one
this
second,
is
guys.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, just like like a smaller size is just what I want to see.
Maybe take
Just whatever the
18.
smaller size.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
but-
I'll go with the smaller size here. And then of course
just
twos
wanna
becomes a
show-
pure
yeah.
raise.
Yeah, I just wanted to show this, right? Like where obviously I'm not studying as much as I was, but like there's these spots here where you're supposed to be taking these raises, right? And then like just find the raise size and go small, go like 39 here or something, right? And then just look at what the response is, right? Like, and then look
I think you got a
look at all the
valid
stuff it
point.
has to call.
Yeah, you do have a valid
No.
point.
It's just
It's
really interesting.
definitely. I
You-
think it's definitely a valid
Yeah.
strategy.
So versus half
it's
pot
really
still no
interesting.
raising, but versus
Yeah,
small we have it. Yeah.
Yeah, against half, there should be no raising. Half is the
Yeah.
cutoff. Okay.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
more
Half is
polar
the cutoff.
size.
Yeah.
Something else to point out with deuces and like these really low pocket pairs specifically is that you unblock folds, which is
Yes.
really nice.
Yeah.
And then you still
Right.
have two. You still have two outs usually.
We also have a backdoor straight draw on this board, of course.
Yeah, that's important on this board.
Yeah.
So, just you guys just node lock 3-bet pots. There's so much equity to be made. I actually have to go over my notes because I'm obviously forgetting stuff. So, I'm gonna look at this stuff again.
That makes sense. All right. Do we want to go back to the video?
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me.
I'm gonna have to get going soon, guys. I'm getting
No
tired.
problem, man.
Yeah, we're getting halfway through now. We're getting there.
Yeah. I'm gonna get going now, actually, guys.
Alright.
It was a good session.
Yeah.
Do you guys do this every Sunday?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
All right. Sounds good. I'll see you guys at the next one.
All right.
Take care, man.
Yeah. See you
Yep.
next week.
Have a good night.
All right. So deuces half pot here, ace 6-6. I'm assuming we're just folding,
Yeah.
but yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm calling deuces.
Oh,
there
is that
more deuces
OTV
here.
Blue Bacon? Hey, welcome.
Mm.
Yeah, he's in here somewhere.
He was. My buddy
size-
Tensive is
what
here
si-
too.
What size do you
Ah.
like going when people open 3? Do you guys go like 8.5, 9, 10? What are you doing? You just going 3x?
Me, stack size dependent. I go to 9 if they're full stacked or bigger. I go to something smaller. If they're at like 60 or something, I'll go to like 7.5, you know.
Okay.
This deep, I think you can go a little bit bigger in position, but
Okay.
not by much.
Okay.
What
I
if we
think
were
9 or
100?
10.
What if we're 100 deep? What are you guys doing? Just still 9 or 8, 10?
Uh, yeah, I like 9 actually.
Okay.
Makes
9's
sense.
good. I think theoretically it depends how linear you're playing. Like you're probably just playing a 3-bet fold strategy, which will pull the size down. But
Yeah.
I think 9 can't be a mistake though.
Can we quite raise this in these positions? Probably not. We're probably just playing a pure call, right?
You
I
can
looked
raise.
at this. I
Maybe.
looked at this. I
Can we
remember this
raise it?
hand. No, I didn't raise it,
No,
but
but can
I
we?
don't remember.
You can, yeah,
Probably,
probably.
yeah.
I think. We also block some ace high floats though if we raise. Although he doesn't really have that many ace high floats, the ace of spades, so that's kind of irrelevant. I don't know. Seems close if we can raise that. We're also 200 deep actually. A sim's gonna be useless here for 200 deep. I don't know. Yeah. Call seems good though. What size does he go on the river? He goes for a check. Can we value bet this on the river? Probably.
I know the answer.
Oh, hang on. I mean,
I forgot what the answer was on the turn, whether we could like how much we could raise, but I
on a
remember the answer
heart,
on the river.
on a heart, when he's in these positions, he's gonna have some tens, some jacks, probably queens as well in this position sometimes. Although there's probably bet river themselves small, so it's not like that's in there that much.
It's a bit
Oh,
thin. It's a bit thin.
it feels thin, but
Feels very thin. Not gonna lie.
alright, I'll go with Tombos because he's the theory nerd. I'll say we can't value bet this on the river.
It's part of it's because
Yes.
you're so fucking deep, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna get
that's
check jammed on with a more, well, check jammed on for a bigger size with a polar range.
I also thought I think we check here, but I thought I'd missed a bet, and this hand was indifferent.
Indifferent, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It does feel very threshold. I think we can consider a donk on 854 on the left, but checking's probably fine too. Definitely don't mind the big bet. I think big betting turn river. Is this too thin? I think I want to block. I think I want to block the river on the left.
same.
Yeah, it's just a tad thin to me. Even though he doesn't hit that much jack X on the river, but
I said it in chat. I was like, I think I missed a bet.
ace 9, yeah. What'll he have again in the ace 9 hand? Did we get to see it? Ace 9. We check. He had the pocket eights with the heart. Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
like
It's like
getting called.
exactly
it's like
what you want to get called by.
the one hand you're targeting in their entire range.
Yeah.
Like exactly that hand.
That is painful. So are we going to see a 10x ISO here? Nope.
Nope. But we might next time.
Oh, see? Would have flopped the nuts. Should have ISO to 10x. That would have been it. It's not a part of the strategy though, huh, Tom? If you know you're going to flop the nuts, you're supposed to ISO 10x.
That's right. That's right. You got to
I
predict
see.
the future.
Yeah. We go for a half pot on the turn and then check river.
Ugh,
Just so much missed stuff. And,
so much.
You know, like, I just had to give him a chance.
Fair enough.
We're blocking everything. There's, you know, like,
Yeah. Take a note though to never ever ever do this again if he's going to be checking 7-8 back.
yeah, I mean, exactly.
If that's the
You just have
case,
to give him a
it's
chance.
a huge punt to check,
Yeah.
right?
I love how he limps in with 8-7 offsuit.
Yeah.
This is why you raise 10x, guys. This is why you raise 10x.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I hope this wasn't the guy that just fucking checked back. Because then this raise is terrible.
9 deuce 4 playing big better check with the ace of diamonds, probably pure checking, even with the jack
I
of
agree.
hearts. Maybe it's a super low frequency bet, but definitely mainly checking. Fold, fold, yeah.
Hmm.
It's always nice when they hit you with that size on the turn and you don't even have a decision.
Oh, I didn't have a decision even if he went small.
Yeah, he just gave his hand strength away.
If you went 10%, you have a decision.
I mean, maybe, yeah. But if he goes 33, I think we
Think
can just fold.
33 you fold, but it's close. Because you have a gut shot too, right? So it's...
Yeah.
Go small and queen 8 deuce seems good.
He didn't go small though. He went like over half, right?
What, on the turn?
I
No,
was
sorry,
looking
on the
off
flop.
to the left.
I was looking,
Oh.
yeah, left hand side.
Oh, you were looking
Oh,
left hand side. I was looking right hand side.
Yeah.
sorry, I got
Yeah.
confused. It feels a bit big on the left hand side, a
Okay.
little bit. But
Can we play a big bet
Something
range here as well in queen jack deuce? Potentially.
something to work on, right?
I think
Sizing
playing
on
a
the
split here on the left, playing a small and a big makes sense. Half pot's probably fine too. I'm
yeah.
curious.
If we have the option to play like a small and a big out of position, I'd rather just simplify to the half.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, particularly out of position. I can check simple blind versus blind, two bet pot, rainbow or two tone, sims. Do I have this spot? Do I have something close to this spot? I have queen jack deuce rainbow. I do have queen jack deuce rainbow. Will you look at that?
mostly a small bet.
I don't have a half pot in my sims, but we are going. Oh, I just have it as a range bet small.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. Interesting.
I thought there were some more cold four bet bluffs in here, but maybe they're closer to the end.
Maybe we're only 35 minutes in.
Okay.
Did we fold queen 6 there? That seems, yeah, probably just a fold. It does seem somewhat
Those-
close though.
Yeah,
All
you're gonna get
players,
dominated a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
all players were marked in orange too.
Yeah. I think I might have
Just
defended it
tight.
versus a min raise, but does seem close, really, really close.
Taco Engineer. What a
That's a
name.
great name. Yeah.
This pool has nothing but great names. Well, then we have Poker Jew on the right, but whatever. Small bet, I'm just folding this, yeah. Aces, alright. Do we get some action here?
Probably not.
If we get some action here, you're gonna have to stop talking about never getting action.
I mean, look at my HUD.
Let's see. King 9 suited we call seems good. I don't want to play a donking range on 10-5-3. I do not want to play a donking range on 10-5-3.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's not really connected enough.
Yeah.
Hope I check back on the right.
I like your check back on the right.
If I check back on the right. Do we? Nope, we
No.
don't.
Oh,
We go for the check raise on the left. I guess we rolled for it. Seems good.
He rolled for a timeout.
Does that mean we have to stare at this for the next 75 seconds? No, okay.
Yeah, apparently not.
They really need to fix that on
Whatever.
ACR.
Yeah.
If somebody
they need to
times out,
change
you
the
should
time.
be able to take all of their money from them by betting one big blind.
Mhm.
It's just how it works.
It used to be the move.
Yeah.
do you open ace 8 on the cutoff?
Yeah.
He
Borderline.
does. He does. He does.
Gonna perform better in a higher rake structure. Nines, are we peeling this? Nice, for the video. Alright,
Yeah.
he goes small, definitely calling.
Yeah, I have no raises here with this hand.
Makes sense. He goes small on the turn. I'm peeling this again for sure.
No
And
decision
now
so
I'm
far.
like, please check back.
Don't think we're bluffing this ever. Yeah, I
No.
think this is just an easy check.
Yeah. Tons of showdown.
Yes, sir. There we go.
Spicy.
Alright, king 10, we defend. What
He
size
bets
does he go?
small.
Oh, he goes over bet. If he bets small, I think this is close. I think if he bets small and we have a diamond, we have a clear continue.
Yeah, I agree.
I think without
Yeah.
a diamond, it gets close.
This is a snap fold now
Oh, well,
against this
yeah.
overbet.
Why are you overbetting this texture? What on earth is going on?
Ace up.
I've been noticing people do that all the time, and I don't know what kind of response I want. Like on boards, they're not supposed to do it.
They're we talked about Clanty disciples earlier. These are Pete Clark disciples.
Disciples?
Disciples.
Disciples. Yeah.
Disciples.
I would say the main reason GTO doesn't do that is because you can get check raised a lot, and then you have to forfeit a huge sum of money.
Hmm.
So if people are overbetting boards, they should not be
We're
overbetting.
supposed to be check raising a bunch?
I think that's the counter exploit. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like-
basically, grow a huge pair of balls and check raise versus the overbet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alright.
Yeah.
I will try.
Yeah, I found a spot the other day where a guy overbet like aces on like a spot he wasn't supposed to, whatever the board was, and I was like, let me double check this board. Maybe this guy knows something I don't. And it would never overbet there, and then I was like, okay, let me just mark this. Like potentially overbetting boards he's not supposed to with good hands. Like the problem is like, let's say this guy's like, all right, I'm gonna take overbets with all my good hands. Like it's hard to, like you have to get some information first. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like just because like people are starting like we're all here. We know overbetting the flop is a thing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But like people that are just seeing other people do it and trying it are probably
Unbalanced,
just
you think?
Yeah. They'll see someone
yeah,
do it on like
Yeah.
ace queen 4, and then they'll think,
yeah,
oh, I can just overbet all ace
yeah,
x boards,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that's a
So
problem.
I'm not sure why we're playing a betting range on 7-6-5 blind versus blind. Just range check it.
okay.
Yeah. All of these low connected boards, blind versus blind, you can just play range check. 7-6-5, 6-5-4, all of this stuff. Just
Check
bother.
raise for value. No, don't do that.
how much check raising is there? Because this board is so good for big blind. If we check, he's supposed to bet big, like 70%. Like he shouldn't even be going small on this board if we check, because it's just too good for him. Exploratively, maybe small betting is better, but theoretically should go big. And sure, I don't mind this line at all.
What do you
Watch
think of a small bet trying to induce a raise and then calling the raise?
on the
It's
river?
not gonna happen enough.
Is that too spicy?
It's just not gonna happen enough.
You're like Matt Berkey with your induction bets, Tom.
I do like a good induction bet. People are gonna have like ace 8 there, and they're just gonna think, oh well, straight draw blocker go burr. And they're gonna raise, and then you're gonna stack them.
Potentially.
No, it's probably a bit much. If I'm being honest, I'm just being a little.
Honestly, the
silly.
guy with the ace 8 block with the ace 8 might just go versus the big bet and go straight blocker and ace high I call. And that'll work just as well, potentially.
Hey, that's good too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Berkey there, Dan?
Ah, He's an interesting fellow.
He is an interesting fellow.
Alright, overlimp the 8-9 off seems good.
Hmm.
I mean, it's either that or ISOing it to 10x, so overlimping makes the most sense. I do not want to stab this. Good, okay. And I will not stab river if check 2.
And now?
No, I'm not betting this. Never. No. Whoa!
This was just for the stream. This was just for the
I
stream.
was gonna
For the
say,
content.
you
for the
almost made me
content.
fall out of my chair. That looks spicy. But no, I
For real-
just want to check.
For real though, I don't mind a bluff. If I'm being honest here.
No,
I-
it's a check.
I
This is a
don't
pure
think
check.
so.
I would never betting here.
Yeah.
No?
I'd potentially bet if I had something that unblocked folds better. Like if I had something like maybe Jack 3 suited, I could get behind betting that, you know.
Not even betting. Yeah, maybe Jack 3.
If I have like Jack 3 suited that unblocks folds better because he's gonna stab a bunch more of his Jack X and not have that much 3x, I'd bet this. But like, how much value do you really have here on this river? You can't get super out of line bluffing,
Mm,
in theory.
well, you're range checking flop.
Your range checking
probably.
flop, probably range checking turn 2. Maybe betting
So
sometimes.
you probably have a lot of value here. And
How much value
these
do
two
you
guys
have?
are both going to be capped.
My value here is sixes and like pocket sixes and some kind of weak
Ace-
ace, weak king.
Yeah. Sixes,
it.
weak
I have
aces,
I-
and
I have-
strong kings can probably block.
I have
That's
so
basically
few
it.
bluffs here.
I think you could get super out of line bluffing this too much, Tom.
I think that's the point.
I mean, if their ranges are weak enough in these check back lines.
They probably will be, to be honest. People play super linear three-way.
Potentially. Is the big blind a reg here?
Unknown, but looks like.
Yeah, potentially tight reg.
Orange? Yeah, reg. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter as much when they're small blind, because I'm thinking versus the rec, he's going to be more incentivized to bluff catch river. Since recs, in my experience, usually aren't going to stab enough of their air on earlier streets, even though the board's really good for them. So if he's a reg, he might understand that and bluff catch wider. But it shouldn't change much if you're stabbing here before the rec. I don't know. I like to check. I also like to scroll up to all in. That scared me. Alright. 6-5 takes it. Did we just fold king 10
I think
off?
there's
Oh,
a
I guess
raise.
somebody
I think,
opened.
no, I think there's a raise in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just can't see it.
Yeah. I don't think we fold king 8 off blind versus blind. I don't know though. Maybe 50 and now rake we do.
I think it does. Or a little tighter.
Not quite sure.
I think king nine's the threshold.
I know at 500 king 8 mixes 3-bet call, but 50 could be a fold. I think king 7's what mixes fold at 500.
Okay.
Alright, so open, face 2 callers. I
I
like
hope
a
I take
check
a bet
here.
on the right. I like a bet.
I like a
I
check.
like that.
Tombos,
Hmm.
tiebreaker here.
Three ways. I like a check.
Nice.
Because you fold out hands you dominate with a bet.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's bad to bet, but I like a check. I could have gotten behind a bet on the left. Checking's fine too, though.
And I hope I check raise on the fucking left.
On the left, I
So mad
I
at
would have
myself.
liked a check raise. I agree. On the right, third pot seems fine.
I feel like I do this sometimes where
I want to go
I'm
for a
not
third
finding enough
pot
check
again.
raises.
I want to go for a
Yeah.
third part again on the right because we're targeting his pocket fives with a heart that he's definitely got.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
don't
think
mind
I
it.
looked at this ace five hand. I think the ace five hand, the turn's supposed to be a fold.
Turn, what does he do? Hang on.
It goes half.
He goes half. I don't think you can
Yeah, I'm
fold
pretty
this
sure it's a
versus
fold.
half.
I looked
Mm,
at it. I think it is.
No.
No.
You pretty much have the direct odds to draw to your flush here.
And a
yeah.
straight. That's what I thought in game. But when I
Yeah.
looked at it,
I think
Even if they have like the nut straight here, it's very hard to justify a fold,
I
to be
think even
honest.
if you have 0% implied odds here, you can still call this, or just about it's close.
Yeah.
I think you just need to continue that. I could either see the solver calling or just pure raising this. A lot of the time on the turn, it takes these fringe hands out of position that can almost not call and then just pure raise them
mhm.
as a
I
continued
actually
mechanism.
do. Yeah, no, I actually really like a raise here just because I think their bluffs are going to be too equity heavy. Like they're not going to have enough weak bluffs.
Yeah,
And
I
for
agree
that
with that.
reason, a lot of like really mergey thin value that you can target effectively with a raise here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like a
I could
flop
get
raise, I
behind
like
that.
a turn raise. I want to raise.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
Then what are we seeing on the right side here?
Want to see a third? Yes.
Yeah, I
Nice.
like that. I like that. Yep.
Aw, sucks that he folds, but fold.
Oh, that's close to
Four
like
better?
cold four, right?
No, we're
Yeah,
not
I'm pretty
gonna
sure.
cold four bet bluff this, are we? I th
Yes, we are.
I
do we
think
use ace
it's.
jack suited?
I think we do.
I think
The
so,
fold.
right?
Thought it
It's got to
was
be like.
more like ace queen suited and then some like ace five suited at some low frequency. Maybe you're right. I can check the
I think it's
spot.
got to be close, right?
Ace
I don't think it's
jack
a
and
punt, but
500 is mostly doing it.
hijack
I don't know what.
opens, button three bets. We're in the big. Ace jack suited is mainly doing it at 500. You're right, and then some ace five. Yeah,
Yeah, it's doing it at 50 as well. It's kind of the edge of the
Yeah.
cold
yeah. At
four
50 it
range.
does as well.
Yeah.
NL 50. Hijack opens.
Yeah, I did roll for it.
It's
I
big
thought it was.
blind.
I obviously thought it
Half
was
the
splitting.
time.
So
It's
Yeah.
borderline for sure.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with
Some ace five.
this hand here.
Yeah. All right.
could have went 22 maybe against the 9.
I think out of
Uh,
position we
Just a
don't
little
cold
more.
four bet super small.
Given how deep they are too, I don't mind it just because of the nut flush draw implied odds. But
Yeah. Okay, so range bet a quarter, I'm guessing. Maybe range bet a third. Probably a quarter. Yeah.
And somehow get a fold.
big pot.
Yeah.
I mean, he should, when you go 22 and he's in position, I think every single pocket pair that 3-bet there has to peel pure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
going to have some low frequency 5s, 6s, 7s, decent
Yeah.
amount of 8s, plus the original Razor went like 2.9, so he might not even play a flatting range in the on the button in the first place. So it's even more pocket pairs. Should have been 6 bigs.
There you go. Or
Every
an
time
overlimp.
you ISO, you flop the nuts. There you go. This is why we go bigger. That's exactly why.
So actually, rather just the board was so dry. Oh, I hope I go. Oh, okay, we're not that deep.
Did he
I was gonna
dunk? What
say.
happened here?
No,
No.
he
Okay,
rewound.
sorry.
I think there's some merit to go
just see if I-
bigger here on the flop, but it's so dry that like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
we should
I
really be
like your
going at third
size.
here.
I like the
Yeah,
size too.
it's just because it's the recreational players.
Yeah, we definitely want our main size
Yeah.
here to be small. It's a question of if we want to
Yeah.
build out a bigger size just because of the rec here.
Yeah.
Potentially. I wouldn't
Yeah.
hate
Now
it.
if
You don't want to fold out their overcards just yet, so I like
Yeah.
the size.
I like the
Uh,
So
size
now
too,
if-
but I wouldn't hate big.
so if this guy was like 150 deep here, I'm going like 2x pot. because I'm
Yeah.
targeting exactly what he has, which is 9x, and I'm gonna, like make him decide whether or not he wants to fold it, and probably doesn't want to. So,
I'd like it deeper, but at this stacked up.
but
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I
all
love
right.
it.
Oh, I know this hand. I know what happens.
I want to play a call. I think this is going to be enough spazzes that are actually going to
Yeah.
fold to a jam that I want to play a
Damn.
call.
I guess I'm shit then. I jammed here because I was like, I don't want his 9x to get scared of the heart. So I was like, let me just jam
I
this in now.
I disagree. I think it'll be enough spazzes that'll fold.
I can't believe you think it's a spaz. I think you're right. I think he folds. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, I just thought this was a 9 every single time. Like, what do you think he's just spazzing with here?
Literally anything. It's not the fact that I don't think he has a 9 sometimes, but I think
Yeah.
he's just so polar when he does this.
He's definitely polar, but I just thought, like, this is always a 9.
No, I think he's polar enough to the point where this is not a 9 or this is like King Jack off that
King
floated
Jack off.
flop. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His logic here is going to be something along the lines of, oh, look, a board pairing card. You know, he doesn't have much 9x. Let's just scare him off the hand.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have any pairs here, so fuck you. I'm going to donk pot.
Yeah.
That's like the whole
Yeah.
logic here.
I
All
just
right. I'll
don't.
call next time.
I think if we play the call, we get all the money on pretty much every river. If we shove, we fold out all of his spazzes and stack his strong hands. But
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
didn't think there were any spazzes, man.
I
He's
think
going to
that.
bluff
When he
a lot of rivers too.
when he folded, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you put him on pure nines, then yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But just
100%.
when you throw in some random bullshit bluffs, he's going to have a lot of bet folds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just slow playing becomes much stronger.
Yeah.
Shy guy.
Where?
No, it's just the username of the guy on the left table, Shy Guy. On
Oh, there you go.
Game Cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah. Telling you, ACR's got all of the good usernames.
They really do, don't they?
Usernames, the avatars. I mean, the turkey on ACR is just hilarious. I see you've got avatars turned off, though. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him.
No, I think the turkey's funny. As somebody who's played like one satellite on ACR in my life and never anything else, so I'm sure it gets annoying after a while. Check. Nice.
Yeah, good check.
Yeah.
Betting just folds out hands he dominates again, so.
Yeah. I could potentially get behind a low frequency bet with a heart. But
Like a small size.
yeah, small size.
Oh yeah, this look at the hand on the right. So bet call.
Yeah,
and
I think we do
then
need to peel this versus size.
I shared this hand, I believe.
I want a
And
donk.
everybody, you were the only person out of many answers that got that correct.
Yeah.
I like a donk
Our
on the
hand
board pairing nine.
doesn't love a donk, but we have so many donks on this turn. We might even be donking
1000.
range.
Our hand here donks like 50% of the time, and that
Our
is like
range
one of
donks
the
pure or close to it.
and then like it's one of the hands that does it the least.
Yeah, because the thing is, on board pairing turns, particularly like second pair pairing turns, we have a donking range, and even more when the in position player c-bets big because when he c-bets
Yeah.
this flop big, he's not having any 9x in this range or very, very little.
Yeah,
If he
like he
goes,
doesn't use this size with second pair, but you call all your second
yeah,
pair to
if he
this
goes
size, which is
Exactly,
small,
exactly.
our donking
yeah.
range is way less of a thing. But when he goes big here, we
1000% I
want to
agree.
donk a ton.
Yeah,
So what?
so when I shared this hand because I was unsure about it, and the frequent response I got was, "I don't like doing this. We have ace high,"
Love it.
and
Love
then
the donk.
and then yeah, this was fine.
I'd
It
probably
was
just
fine to
straight
do.
up simplify to
Now,
donking my entire range on the turn.
okay, so now I have a question for both of you on the river. So this is the most interesting hand for me in the session. So
Alright, let's see it.
we donk.
Recognizes the
Uh,
donk. Very nice.
Like it.
Now river.
Ooh. That's
That's a fun spot. Um,
so. What are you representing here?
Well, when we donk, we always donk
Yes.
small, right? So what I'm
Yeah.
thinking here is, well, anything that I donk, I'm gonna go small with, right? So all my flushes, all
we
my
are
straight
uncapped
draws,
here. We'll have
all
a
my
bunch of
9x,
flushes.
all my 10x, all my
Yeah.
4x, right? So I'm like, all right, well, my hand, right? Let's say I had queen jack here, right? I'm gonna bet like pot. If I had ace jack here or whatever, ace four, whatever frequency I have that, I'm gonna bet over pot,
I
right?
think
Or
I'd
if I
straight
have,
up split three
if I,
sizings,
yeah,
and I'd play
yeah,
like a big bet, like maybe 70%, maybe pot. I'd probably play a block, and then I'd play a jam.
okay. So I went for the overbet here, right? Because
Overbet's probably fine too. I like having a
so
jam range here though, specifically like
yeah.
ace of diamonds hands and then nut flushes. Just ram
So
it home.
I went for the overbet here, but our range never did, right? Like it wasn't the size it ever chose. It chose a lot of small bets, right?
Yeah,
Like 50% or 33%,
yeah.
right? And I think that was exclusively what it did. And I think that was because we had so many turn leads, right? And then this hand in particular though lost very little EV with an overbet.
Do we ever
So
check
like
this hand? Probably not, right? Maybe.
uh yeah, I don't think we checked it all.
It
But
seems
we
close
bet
to me. It's so
yeah.
frustrating if we can bluff this or not.
We,
I feel like you can put this into almost any bet size, and it's going to be okay in the context of the right
yeah.
strategy.
No, I think putting this
Yeah.
into a jam would be a punt.
So
A
I
jam is
think
too much because you're way too
yeah,
deep.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
I think
I
like
think
any
if
other
open
I'm gonna
bet,
size is
find
fine. Yeah.
I think if I'm
medium.
gonna like yeah, I'm sorry guys. I think if I'm gonna deviate from the solver here and like take bigger bets, right? Like if I am gonna find an overbet here with my flushes or like a small overbet with my straights or an overbet then or like my straight with a diamond, then I think I need to overbet this hand. But if I can get closer to like I didn't really know why the solver was always going small. I just assumed it was because we had so many leads, and now
I mean, a lot of
uh,
our range here is what?
like we have the merge.
9x a ton?
We, I mean, pull it up real quick. Does
I'll
can
check
you
it.
look at it?
Yeah. Even
Tom?
versus the big bet, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a decent amount of check raises with flush draws, with straight draws, so it's not like
Yeah,
we
but
have
we
all
also
that many
have
of those.
like a ton of like not going nuts. Like people are raising their draws more than the solver is,
Yeah,
right?
the
Like
solver
queen
doesn't
jack
raise them
here,
all that
like
much.
queen jack here is not going nuts, right? And then like 7/8's gonna
Yeah,
have more raises, right? I'm just assuming. I could be
yeah.
wrong, right? Like
I
I
have
didn't look at it that in depth, but like we're still gonna have a bunch of flushes here that didn't check
Yeah,
raise
I
that are
have
gonna
10 9
lead.
4 two-tone, the wrong suits for the two-tone, but still. So yeah, we're checking. He's mainly playing over better check, which makes
Okay.
sense. 10 9 4 is, or
Okay.
10 9x brick is a texture that wants to go for a lot of
Okay.
overbetting. But he goes big, and then yeah, we're check raising like 9%, check raising some queen
Right.
jack.
But look at Jack nine here, right? Like Jack nine's not going nuts. But what is 7 6 7 doing?
What do you mean on 10 9 4?
What yeah, oh what's the board here? I
10 9
can
4.
barely make this up.
It's 10 9 4.
Okay, you
Here,
have
I'll put
you
this full
have 10
screen.
9 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said you had 10 8 4. All right,
No,
I
I have
misheard
10
you.
9 4, but the suits
Oh,
are
okay, cool,
slightly
cool,
off.
cool,
It's the
cool.
wrong two
All
tone.
right, cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, so 7 8 finds more raises, right?
Yeah.
And Queen Jack, right? Like just as a like if we just look at the suited combos, right? Like it's
Slightly.
not terribly
Yeah.
different, right? But we should be finding more, right?
Yeah.
And this
Slightly
is like
more.
a common theme, right? But like you know, people are definitely raising, in my opinion, this stuff more than they should be, right?
Potentially.
Especially like Queen Jack,
Yeah.
right?
But
So
yeah, if he goes big bet, we call turn 9 of an offsuit hand and then king suited. Okay, yeah. Turn 9 of an offsuit suit. We're donking 60% of our range here versus big bet.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious
Okay, so now
if we take the overbet line on the flop, how
yeah.
much do we dunk? Versus overbet, we're donking 70%, so slightly more. Alright.
I have a like a range dunk on my end.
You have a range dunk? Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wizard uses a 20% as opposed to a 30%,
It does,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
it
have
does.
30, so it's going to be slightly,
But you
slightly
also
low
went
frequency.
30% on the flop and he goes 50%, right?
Me? I went
Yeah, what did
70,
you
and
do
I
on
think he did go 70.
Oh, okay. I think he
Um,
goes 50.
he goes. What size is it?
50 or
3.1.
yeah,
Oh
50.
yeah, closer to 50.
Yeah, so
Still going to be a substantial amount of dunking though.
yeah. Ace Jack doesn't take it on this line, but you have it a lot over there, Tom, right?
I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
ace. Yeah, ace jack doesn't really take it much on this
Yeah.
in my sim, but yeah. Say we dunk, and we get what? What does this run out? King of diamonds on the river. I'm curious what I have this as. I'm only 100 bigs deep though, which is also slightly relevant.
Yeah, it's fine. That should be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
If we
wait, how deep
call
are we? Oh,
200 or 170 to start the hand. 170 to start the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
170.
On the river, pretty much always playing 30% is the only size here, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is kind of what that's kind of what the solver
That's
had too.
interesting. Yeah, and ace jack does want a pure bluff for that 30% size if it does get here at some low
Yeah.
frequency.
Yeah, this was kind of that was kind of the answer that we got
Yeah.
with GTO Wizard.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
a huge
I-
punt TV wise.
I thought it was really interesting. Went for the overbet. In the moment, I thought it was the right play. But can either one of you tell me why we're like going small here again versus like
What's the range explorer analysis here? If I pull this
On,
up,
you mean like on the river?
yeah, why on the river are we taking a small
hang
bet?
on.
And like I'd have to run this to get river reports, and maybe I should run this and then show the hand. Because we really need the river reports.
What do you mean river reports?
The
What
like
we do on different rivers? You're talking?
Yeah.
I have that.
Okay.
Um.
Can you
Yeah. Hang on. Run a. Where am I going? Run out TV comparison hotness. Here we go. You can see this window.
yeah.
Okay. This is. Is it gonna load? Give it a second. Hang on. Done 5 of 47. Okay, it's going through them. 7 out of 47 possible rivers. Just give it a minute.
Okay.
Did you solve these all yourself, Dan?
Yeah, I solved these all myself.
How
long
much
did
memory
that
do you
take you?
have?
I've got 64 gigs of memory.
And how long did that take you? Tom wanted to know.
For what spot?
I guess a long time, Tom.
Just
No,
a
because
long
like
time.
a 3-bet pot, let's say. If I did my when I did my 3-bet pots, like a 400 flop subset or so, right? 384, whatever the biggest one they have on Pio is right now. That probably took me maybe 2-3 days, 2 days probably for all 400.
What's the biggest subset? 384?
I think it's like 384. Something
Big
about
ass
maybe
subset.
376. But yeah, for something in the realm of 400 3-bet pots, it took
Is
me
that
like 2
enough?
days.
Is that enough flops to get you like the entire game tree without like duplicating like spots? Like, like two-toned, like you don't need to do like two-toned heart and spades, right? Like, and then do diamonds and clubs, right? They're essentially the same
Like
spot,
if you go,
right?
you're talking like how many isometrically different flops are there?
Yeah.
1,755.
Yeah, they have some data on how closely different subsets match the true subset of flops.
Right,
Yeah.
but what I'm
And
asking is with that amount of flops, right? How many possible flops are there in Hold'em?
Like strategically different flops?
Yeah. No, just how many
1755.
different flops?
22,100 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then 1755 of them are strategically different.
Yeah, like
Oh,
assuming
okay,
that,
okay.
let's say
So
ace
you could
king queen of spades is the same as
I
ace king
got
queen
you.
of hearts, right?
Okay,
Would
so
bring it
so
down to
if you
that.
had 1,750 different flops, whatever the exact number was, then you basically have the entire game tree solved.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
Wizard has, right? Wizard has
Yes.
1755, and then when you plug it into Wizard, right? Let's say you put in like club, heart, diamond.
Oh,
If
okay,
they have it
okay.
solved in different suits, their UI will just
Oh, okay.
switch it to
I
whatever it
got
should
you.
be, so you can visualize it.
Got you, got you, got you, got you.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's what they did. Maybe they solved all 22,000 for no reason and wasted a ton of RAM combos. You can tell us.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're not
Yeah.
that.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, this is our strategy on different rivers here
Yeah.
in this spot.
What do we have?
And
We
maybe
have
just input ace jack of whatever.
If I show for one
Ace of clubs,
combo,
jack of diamonds.
wait, hang on. What was my Give me a
Ace
second.
of clubs, jack of diamonds. I
No,
think is
for
what it
me it's
was.
gonna be ace of spades, jack of hearts,
no,
right? Hang on.
no,
No, ace
Jack of
of
Spades.
ace of hearts, jack of spades. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Here we go. Did this
And
load
on,
it?
we
Now,
have to
did you
take.
flop? Did you flop?
Pick.
I mean, did you
Oh, I
flop?
need to
Did you
click on.
did you
Is that it? Here
did
we
you
go.
do these giant subsets so that you could basically have an answer almost all the time?
Pretty much. So I don't have
Okay.
to be annoyed by solving something and waiting for it.
Okay.
It's kind of like what Wizard has, but I have slightly different sizes. And I can also export my aggregated reports to Excel instead of working with it within Wizard. So I can do some more stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in your solve, you don't really have the hand that much, so
yeah,
you
but
kind of get this weird answer.
if it does get in there, it wants to value bet on an ace for 70%.
Yeah.
So if we river the top pair instead of the king, right, it wants to go for value. If it's the king of spades, right, the river that we actually had in the hand, it wants to go for a pure block. Queen of spades, same thing. Eight of spades, same thing. Basically, what is this? On rivers, when it has either a flush and straight blocker, if it has a flush and straight blocker, it wants to go for a bluff for 30%.
Okay.
If it hits top pair, but it brings in the flush, so like ace of diamonds in your hand, it wants to go for 30%. If it brings in an ace of another suit that doesn't bring in the flush, it wants to go for a 70% value bet. And then
Okay.
if it hits a top pair on the river that's a jack, or if it rivers a 10, which means that we're chopping with other ace highs, it wants to go for a value bet for 10%.
Okay.
At least that's what I have it as, and it's just pure checking every other river.
Gotcha.
So you probably have. I mean, it's not a value bet on this particular river, but yeah, this is a pure bluff.
For 30% on this river, yeah.
Yeah.
Any size, yeah. This is. I mean,
But do you
this
know
is-
why the range here is going
Only
small?
30.
Like,
the range
yeah.
is going smaller. This hand, in particular.
If you look
No,
at my
like our
sim
whole range is
tombos,
going
we
small.
have less than 1% of or less than 10%. Okay, it's using like 10% of 10% size, right? It's using
Yeah.
2.5% of B70, and then
Yeah, then you just
43% of this size, and everything else is just
Yeah.
less than 1%, completely
Yeah, this is
negligible.
pretty similar to the range answer that I saw, and I was like, why is everything
Yeah.
going small?
It's pretty much exclusively going for 30%. If I pull up some range explorers, I'm curious if we can compare these spots side by side, or ranges side by side here.
So I do have a theory about why the range is going small here,
What's
and
your
just in
theory?
general. So, in general, I've been looking at these block bet spots a bit, and like the classic reasoning is that you use this size so that because you'll face less aggression and realize more equity with medium strength hands.
So we
That's
just
that's the classic explanation, right?
right.
And if we check the 19% size, it's mostly going to be trips plus for value. And then, of course, you have to put some really strong hands in there and some complete garbage just to balance it out or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I found studying the EV is that the reason you block bet has less to do with your medium strength hands and more to do with the fact that if they correct or if they respond correctly, they need to raise a lot.
Right.
And you actually lose value with medium strength hands, but then you gain even more so with the nutted hands that you trap with.
You do have a point. Versus B30, he's raising 25% of his range.
So the idea is to induce spew, essentially.
Yeah.
That's the underlying idea.
So then,
It's an interesting way to phrase it.
right. But then if we node lock, right? If we change the response to not have enough raises, then we should be going big ourselves, correct? Right? That's always the thing. That's always the case, right?
Yeah, in that case, you can exploitatively still put like medium value into that small size
Yeah.
because they won't bluff raise you off the best
Right.
hand often enough. And then, of
So-
course, just take your value and put it into a bigger bet because
Yeah. Okay.
why wouldn't you?
So maybe then if I was diligent and I node locked this enough, this might have been more correct.
Something else to keep note of is like I don't know if you guys are familiar. Well, you should be familiar with alpha, right? Like just risk reward calculations,
Yeah.
how much they need to fold, whatever. If you ever do the math, you'll notice that, for example, the alpha on a half pot bet is different than the alpha on a half pot raise against the half pot bet. That is to say, they get a worse price raising than you do as the initial better.
Hang on.
So-
If we bet half pot, alpha's gonna be 1/3, 0.5 over 1 plus 0. Yeah, 1/3, right?
Yeah,
If we raise half pot, how
against the
does this
half pot
change?
bets.
If we raise half pot versus half pot,
Say it's 5 and 10. So the pot is 10. Guy bets 5. Someone else raises half pot.
half
Which would
pot, if it was 5 into 10, would be what?
15.
15, you're right, yes. So, alpha, if we're raising 215,
You're risking 15 to win 15. So it's
We're risking
essentially
f-
the same alpha as a pot-sized bet.
oh shit, you're right.
And so because the way you can think of it
Oh.
is simply this: they're putting in, you need to put in more, so your risk to reward is worse with the raise than it is with the initial bet. That removes strategic options from your opponent's range. So theoretically, I think that ties into the idea of a block bet quite a bit. You make their alpha worse.
That does make sense.
Not really, but it is mathematically sound.
Well, it makes sense mathematically, yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Intuitively, it's less.
Yeah.
It's not as intuitive,
It's
but
gonna take me a few sleepless nights to come to grips with that.
it'll bother you.
Like some of that math stuff, I just don't even bother with because, like, it's good to know, I guess, but not. It doesn't.
It's less
help in
applicable on the
gameplay.
table, right?
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
thing is, it's one of those things that'll like knowing that fact will not help you at all on the felt,
Yeah.
but it will
Which
help
is
you
why-
understand some concept down the road while studying, which you can then later
Right.
apply. So it's
Yeah, maybe.
like a really
So what did you want to
Indirect.
check? You wanted to check if we node lock it to reduce his raising range, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you have it reduce? Can we see what the raising range is, and then
Yeah, okay.
lock it
So
by a
I've node
percentage?
locked the
Can you bring it up? I'm
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have it up here.
Okay.
I've
I
node
can't see
locked.
it.
You can't. Well, is it just too small? Is that why you can't see it? Or
No. I'm looking at. I see. I think Tom. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on Tom's stream. My
switch
bad.
over to mine? Yeah.
Okay.
I've node locked everything up until the river scenario.
Okay.
Hang on.
Alright,
So
so can you expand?
yeah, if we're out of position,
how
we
much
go
are we
for a
raising?
B30.
So how much are we raising as the imposition player?
Okay, this is in position's response to a B30 on the river in theory.
Okay. Can you half that?
Alright, so I'll cut down the 70% raise size from 8 to 4, and I'll cut down the jam from like
Yeah.
17.6
best.
to half that.
Honestly,
Sure.
this is the number one reason to get Pio over GTO Plus is that you can do this geometrically instead of
Which is kind
like
of cool.
individually.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like really,
absolutely.
it's really, really important.
Can I
They're
lock
old node
my
lo-
calling and folding? Yes.
It is
their
the
old
only.
node locking
Yeah, go
stuff
ahead.
was so garbage, but their new one is just amazing.
Yeah,
Actually,
this is actually the number one. I mean, at least from what I know about Pio, this is the number one reason to get it.
I'll lock their
Because I would.
folding frequency and I'll just move a bunch of raises into calls.
Yeah, that's
So we'll
fine.
do-
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So I'll drop
Um,
this to 4.
Yeah, I believe this is the number one reason to have it because
I'll lock this,
this
and
will
I'll
help
drop
you
this
with your
to
exploits way more than anything else.
8
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
By
I'll
the way,
drop this
what
to
is Pio cost now?
Not the
Like-
slightest clue.
Like $600 for the pro version.
They've upped it. God damn it. I got it cheaper.
I'm thinking in Canadian dollars. I think it's like
Oh, okay.
500 in
Oh,
American, but
Yeah.
still
I still
ridiculous.
think I got it cheaper than that.
How did
yeah.
you get it cheaper?
Well, I bought Pio like, I don't know, year and a half
Like if
ago.
I'm
Like I bought Pio before Pio 2.0 came out.
Did you upgrade?
Yeah, but it was a free upgrade from Pio 1.0.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, cuz
yeah,
they just said everybody with a Pio 1.0 license gets the free upgrade, so I just got it, you know.
nice.
What was
Yeah.
the actual spot sizing and stuff in game? Just out of curiosity here.
I
Oh,
can check that
I
for
went,
you.
I went 33% on the turn, and then I went overbet on the river.
Yeah, so he opens to I can tell you his open size actually. He opened to 2.86.
Yeah.
We defend. Flop, he c-bets half
Half.
pot, something close to half pot, not
Yeah.
quite. I can give you the exact size. Flop was what?
Well,
3.1
this might have
divided
yeah.
by
No, he might have
5.
went exactly pot because I have it set up to take out rake. so
Okay,
this might
yeah,
be-
52% according to the sim, but probably without rake, just 50%. So exactly half pot. And then turn, we donk 33% and get to the
Yeah.
river. Yeah, so hang on, I just node locked this down. Let me lock all, save and close. And I want to, is there anything else I want to lock? I locked the flop strategy, lock that, lock that, lock that. No, this is going to be fine. Alright, let me say go, and I'll solve it down a bit and see what happens.
I guess if I get like enough, if I start winning and I can be closer to getting to 200, I guess I'll invest in Pile then and some more memory.
It's handy for the node locking stuff. It's
Yeah.
handy in my opinion. It has 3 significant advantages over Wizard, in my opinion. One is the
Mhm.
node locking interface. 2 is the fact that you can do way more stuff with aggregated reports, particularly turn and river aggregated reports.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 is they've already implemented the ability in the trainer to play the entirety of a hand from a specific spot.
Oh yeah, that's huge too.
Yeah. Those are the 3 advantages, in my opinion, Pio has
Yeah,
over
yeah,
Wizard.
I think once GTO is done with me, GTO Wizard that is, I think I have to get Pile.
It's just those 3 advantages. The thing that bugs me the most is I don't know why Wizard hasn't implemented those 3 things yet. Like, the
Wizard has-
aggregated
you can go
reports
from-
I kind of
yeah.
get. Like, the aggregated
Right.
report thing, that would be a bit more complicated for Wizard to implement. But to play the entirety of a hand from a specific point would be so easy.
Oh
You know,
yeah, I get
node
what you're
locking I
saying.
get,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that specific one, they could do
Yeah.
so easily, and I have no clue why
Yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't. You know?
Yeah,
that's
so
one
the
Pile.
reports they don't want to give out because it makes it too much easy for the competition to rip them off.
No, I know. I know why they can't like give you an Excel spreadsheet with a report. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, the practice mode thing is apparently coming in the next update.
They gotta do that. I mean, that's one thing they could do so easily. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, reports I get, node locking I get, obviously, because if they have a bunch of people running sims on their servers, it's gonna slow everything down.
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Anyway,
It would be
well,
nice if there was a way to offload it onto you instead, you know? Like if
What do
you
you
want
mean?
a node lock,
Yeah, yeah,
offload
like,
it to your,
have it done in your local server or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that would be cool. While this is running, we can keep going and
Okay.
look for other interesting spots.
So interesting to note here, he's always supposed to raise that on the turn. So
Which spot? The oh, what he calls? Ace 9?
yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. He should be raising that pure. Yeah.
which makes my bluff worse. But I mean, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah. Would make a jam better. Maybe he folds that to a jam.
Oof, no way.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man.
Maybe.
I'm not giving anybody credit there.
Alright. Think we could 4-bet 10s. Think we can fold 10s.
Nope.
What, we can't do what?
I think it's such a low frequency 4-bet. I'm just like never taking it, especially with these sizes.
It's gonna be a frequency 4-bet. What low frequency 4-bet? What makes me more inclined to do it is the fact that we're a little bit deeper,
Mm-hmm.
which gives them kind of an uglier price to just play a jam pre-flop, which is the huge reason you don't want to 4-bet 10s here, right?
Yeah.
So I think 4-betting becomes slightly better, but I'd still mix it. I wouldn't do a pure anyway. Think 100 big blinds deep versus those sizes. I'd simplify to just folding. Whoa, that was so nitty.
What happened there? I missed that.
We folded Queen 10 suited
hold on.
versus
Can
an
you
open.
can you see what his stats are?
No, hang on. Maybe if you hover over. Oh, he's playing 12-10.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's opening under the gun.
All right, fine. Fold it.
Snap fold. Snap fold.
Fine.
It's fine. Dan sounds
probably
so
opening-
disappointed.
I am
Probably
so
opening, like,
disappointed.
6%
When I
of his-
see these nits, like if somebody opens, say, under the gun, and I 3-bet, I don't know, maybe King 10 suited in the hijack, and they 4-bet me, and I look at their stats and I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I need to fold this. I want to peel this. I so want to peel this.
Yeah. He's like-
Anytime I
he's
need to make a tight fold, it drives me crazy. It pains me in my
probably
soul.
opening like 6% of his range there. You know, like it's like literally like, you know, sevens plus, you know, like king, queen, and like ace 10 suited.
I
you know,
agree
like,
with you. Versus player, you
Right
have
up,
to
it's
fold
so
that, but it
tight.
just hurts. It hurts me so much to fold
It's
it.
so tight though.
I know.
Yep.
I know it's right. It's just it's
I'm
painful.
actually gonna look what
It-
my equity is against that range.
It's just
I
Well,
got
what-
35. I have 35% equity against that 6% range.
yeah,
And
but
you'll
even then you're
realize
gonna get
none
4
of it-
bets. You're gonna under realize. You know, it's yeah.
Throw in
Oh,
a cold
yeah.
call strategy.
Yeah.
I would have honestly definitely played that as a cold call, except for the fact that he went like almost 3x. He went like 2.9. In this rake structure, when he goes that big, I don't know how much of a cold calling range we even want to have.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah,
I just meant in general against the nitty people.
for sure. If you had gone 2.5x or any smaller, I'm definitely cold calling.
Tom, what stakes are you playing now?
No stakes, sir. No stakes.
Why are you playing no stakes and then in here?
Why not? That's kind of fun, isn't it?
Tombos is the weird theory nerd that never plays except for when somebody invites him to a Poker Now home game and just plays for no money.
I play with the occasional home game. I just don't play that often.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I have found
So
alternate ways of monetizing my poker knowledge.
Okay. And what are those ways?
I make content for GTO Wizard.
Okay.
All of the daily doses of GTO.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, and their videos and stuff.
I guess I should watch some of the videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so river with 5s. Interesting spot. Theoretically, I think I want to check.
Ooh. I don't know, man. I don't know about the check.
He's going to have a
feel like-
decent amount of, you know, ace 5, king 5, calling range that
Yeah.
we block. So theoretically, I think this hand does want to check. But I think exploitatively, this guy just has ace king. And
I
he's
think he's
not going to
got-
bet.
He's gonna check back so much ace X if you check.
That's
the
exactly
thing.
it. So I think in theory I want to check it, and in practice I want to just bet this.
Yeah, I like a bet.
Yeah.
So Tom, you did like the mechanics of c-bet sizing. This is
That was
you.
me. Yep.
Okay. How many videos do you have on here now?
Maybe 6. Like the ones starting from terrifying GTO plays were all me.
You
Uh-huh.
also did mechanics of pre-flop, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and mechanics of fold equity, as well as some of the other
Right.
reviews. Like I did a CG versus Matt review.
All right. Maybe I'll hit you up for like a recommendation of some videos, maybe some spots you think I should look at.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I ran that river node lock. It's
Mhm.
Oh, it's done for you already?
well, I just did the river, right? With the GTO Wizard Rangers.
Yeah, I really should have done that, shouldn't I have?
Did you try and solve the whole thing from the flop?
Hey, 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 my sim's already down to 1.5% solving the whole thing from the flop.
Wait, you didn't just do it. You didn't just do it from the river?
I should have.
Mine was
Yeah.
done in like 1 second.
Yeah.
It was great.
Fine,
Yeah.
I'll stick in a river, but yeah, what do you have?
Well, it depends
Are
on
you
how you node lock, but
are you
mine's
showing it on your
basically.
stream?
Yeah. Is my stream paused though?
I can see
Hang
you.
on.
You want to move your mouse around?
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah. There we are. Can you
Yeah, I
see my
see you.
stream? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
see you.
basically, just basically always range betting for this size because
Mhm.
they're still folding about the same amount.
Yeah.
However, they're under raising, and so it ends up just basically range betting for the small size. And
Uh-huh.
then, of course, if they're calling it just a little bit too much, it won't use this. But it's
Right.
using an extremely unbalanced or extremely polarized overbet strategy,
Right.
using mostly boats.
Okay. So what? So obviously, according to this, I picked a size it didn't prefer for my particular hand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I
what
think a
hands?
lot of it depends on how you node lock them, right?
Hmm.
Well, let's get rid of that. So, what were you gonna ask?
So which hands does it decide to bluff with the larger size? Because I can see, what does it have?
Like eight
10, it has,
seven,
yeah, 10-8 here.
8-6, some 5x bullshit.
Stuff that
Yeah.
unblocks folds.
Yeah. And then for value, it's like the king nine boat, the 10-9 boat, the 9-9 boat,
Yeah.
a few of the nut flushes.
I mean, maybe I can find like something like 10-8 here. I don't, it's so fucking hard to find 10-8 here. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's really only there just to try and get your
yeah.
value called wide enough, right? And like,
I'm
I
trying to,
imagine if I make them fold just a little
yeah.
bit less, just a wee bit less folding, then
Wait, did you
perhaps
adjust their folding frequency?
I did not know. Only their raises so far.
So they're folding 25% of the time?
Yeah,
What size are we betting river?
this is a 20%
Oh,
size.
20%. Okay, that makes sense. Because I have a 30, and it's folding 31% of the time versus that. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I've had the same experience so far. It's still solving down just the river because I switched it. But it's just upped the c bet or the river bet frequency to like 70% and continued
So that
betting
makes.
small.
I'll have them call just a little bit wider, and then of course it's going to stop using the small size. And go, and done. This is why you just solve a river, Dan. See how simple
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
was?
It's boring.
Okay, so
It's
now
boring way
now
to
we're
do
starting to
things.
check
This is
check a
so
bit more.
weird.
And
But
now
now,
Ace Jack
Ace Jack.
can bet large,
Right.
because the small bet's no longer effective.
This
I'm
is
telling you, this
still
is
ace jack with the ace of diamonds though. That
yeah,
wants
but
to go big because we have the nut flush blocker.
even the
We
one
have
without
Oh, it's
is
still going.
betting big.
Yeah, 110 there.
So
Yeah.
what's the reasoning here? So we're just more polar because he's calling more. Is essentially it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now what if he's folding more? What answer do we get then?
Oh, probably just put all your bluffs into the small bet if he's over folding.
Uh-huh.
I would
Okay.
imagine it has to be that, right? Let's take a look. If he's
Yeah.
folding 30 instead of 25 per se,
Sure.
and done. Um, and now, of course, basically all of our weekends just go into the bluffing line. It's still checking
Uh-huh.
some,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay. So the better line here was small. I
yep,
guess, right? Because we're usually not gonna have overcalls in this spot, I'm assuming. And
yeah. Like
then
if we look at what he's calling with, it's some really thin shit, like
yeah.
5x and like oh, sorry, this is with a diamond. Maybe I can just exclude the flushes. Um, yeah, like queen nine, for example, is calling.
Well, queen nine is trips. That's not that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, queen 10 I meant.
Yeah.
Queen
Queen
10.
10. Some
Right, all
king
this
Um,
10,
5,
all
which
this like
is, yeah.
10% stuff.
yeah.
King 5
Yeah.
is a little bit.
And
Yeah.
then queen 5 is raising, like that's I'm not worried about that. So those will all be folds if they even called, like yeah, okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so small here's the size. Could you give me like a principle on like how to think about this in the future? Like
Yeah,
you know,
it's a good question. Um, like just block bets or in general, or can you
no, like
expand
in
your
this
question?
like in yeah, like in this spot, right? In this spot we block on the turn, right? And my question is like, what kind of generalization here can I have for like my range is going to want to block versus my range is going to want to be polar? Like, how do we come to that determination on the river after we've blocked?
What
I,
heuristic would lead us to the conclusion of taking this strategy effectively?
I always try and put things in terms of strategy pairs. And so a lot of it's really basic shit that I'm sure you guys already know. Like, as you can see, we node lock them to overfold, so you just put all your bluffs into that line.
Yeah.
Or if they're calling against, for example, an overbet too much, like they're just calling all of their trips and never folding,
Then
you
we
just put all
don't
your
put any bluffs into that range and put all our value in there.
yeah, just put all your value in there exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so, for example, like it's hard to give a heuristic on exact boards because a lot of it's going to
Mhm.
be texture dependent.
Yeah, yeah, no, just give me a basic heuristic after we've,
After we've
donked,
What
donked,
if we
right?
right?
just
And
go back
yeah,
from all of the node locking to the why theoretically do we want to use the small size in this running?
So yeah, so theoretically, the reason you want to use a small size originally starts with you want to over realize with your medium hands, and then when in position corrects, the only way to correct that is to raise a lot. And by raising a lot, you make more money with your nutted traps that go into that
right,
size. That's the dynamic, right?
right.
Okay.
So let's
But like,
imagine
mhm.
that they're
So
not doing it.
I just want to clarify for a second. I believe I'm in the camp that believes that at least in my stakes or in a lot of stakes, going small and hoping to get raised to gain value is typically bad. So you're usually better off going bigger yourself.
Right? If they're
Do
not
we,
raising enough,
right.
then it doesn't make sense to put your value into that line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then because that's where your value makes money. Like you
Right.
bet small to induce a raise, but if they're not raising enough, that doesn't make sense.
Should just
Okay.
stick it in the
So
big bet size. Yeah.
so instead, let's say they're not raising enough and they call too much against the big size, like they just call all of their trips, for example.
Mhm.
Exploitatively, you would put all your bluffs into the small size, or
Mhm.
assuming they're going to fold enough
Right.
and not raise enough. If they, let's say they're balanced on the folding calling aspect, but they're not raising enough, you put all your medium strength into that size because now you can realize all of your equity and not have to face enough aggression,
Mhm.
uh, just buying a showdown per se. And then, of course, all your value hands can go into bigger sizes.
Mhm.
So I like to imagine just the strategy pair and then use that to determine the exploitative logic.
And
Mhm.
theoretically, the logic for small here was the fact that our medium hands over realize and our strong hands get raised a ton.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So is there a spot after we've donked small where we're gonna have small bets and big bets instead of just small bets?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Mhm.
it'll have to hit your range pretty well.
Mhm.
So let me go back to GTO Wizard here. So after they call, per se, let me just lock in this call and say what kind of hands, trips, and what are they having? They have a lot of overpairs.
A lot of
We have,
overpairs and top pair. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just change this to an ace of hearts, for example. And I think it's going to use some larger bets on the ace of hearts.
Okay. And then you can please explain to me why that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
Okay.
now we have this.
Leveraging a
Um,
trips advantage. Is that it?
yeah, yeah. Also because all of
Well,
their
they
shit missed, and
Uh,
they don't. Um, so we could take a look at the ranges tab here, and we can say, for example, massive nut advantage with trips,
yeah.
boats, whereas their main value range was going to be over pairs, which the ace nullifies, right? And of course, the ace x advantage is fairly neutral on both
Yeah.
sides.
And the full house advantage is fairly neutral, so I guess that's why we're not going like 3x potter for a shove.
Yeah, like
And
you can't just shove here, but
Yeah, because they have aces and all sorts of ace nine, that crap.
yeah, yeah. So
yeah. So
Yeah.
why is that so different from the king to the ace? Because we've essentially gone up, just one level, one
well, for
card.
one, it completed the flush, which nullified your
Okay.
trip advantage a little bit.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
But
But
even on
at
the
the,
non-flush, it's still going small.
the
Or
the other
relatively
Okay.
thing is
small.
that they have a lot of king x in range, right? Like if we just take a look at what they're calling with,
Uh,
um, like of course the king queen connects with the 10-9 more than the ace queen or whatever, so they're gonna have more of these king x hands in range, which is a
Gotcha.
little bit better for them.
Okay.
So if we think about what kind of like, gut shots and plus overcard draws they're calling with, it's going to be more of
Uh,
these king x queen x
okay.
hands, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
It's going
then
to be hard to do in real time.
it is, yeah, it is difficult. And then of course you'll get some that are going to be kind of a mix. Like what was the king x here? King x should be without a diamond. I think it will mix. Okay, we've got some medium large sizes, and some
Mainly
small
going
sizes.
small though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some 50% stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to
Okay.
start with the theory baseline and just like you're a very exploitative player, which I appreciate. And I would say that most of GTO is built on top of exploitative thinking, in my opinion.
So so I'm actually it's actually funny that you say that because a lot of people would call me a theory-based player.
No, you're
Now,
definitely an exploitative player. I totally agree
now
with Tom.
I don't know if that's because I'm willing to deviate in spots, right? Like think in theory and then play exploitative kind of thing, like Peter Clark says, but like, or if it's my lack of theory in some spots. I don't know.
Well, just listening to the way you describe your thought process, you came
Mhm.
across to me as more of I don't know. Your thought process seems more exploitative, but you've obviously studied a lot of
Yeah.
Sims, which translates over to understanding
Yeah.
GTO to some degree.
To be fair,
Um,
Tom, I have about 2 years of live experience, but after college, so
oh, well, okay, that explains it. That explains
Yeah.
it. We gotta force Dan to play some live, man. We gotta bring him over.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
Dan,
I do the
bro, like,
opposite. I think the theory and then I go, okay, now I have to force myself. What is my exploit here? Why am I doing this? And I have to just push
yeah,
myself to take that line.
Dan, I made the same mistake uh, when I started shooting 100, right? Like around that time, as I did when I first started playing live, is that I assumed, and we talked about this before. I started assuming that people had the same knowledge I did. They just don't. And like,
Yeah.
and when you put that, like, you're like, he's gonna call here, and I'm like, bro, he is not gonna call here. He's not finding that. Like, I think you got to put that stuff away because
I'm trying.
you
I'm
your
actively
theory,
trying.
yeah, your theory's so much better than mine, and like you've been up at 200, now you're back down at 25, and you
Yeah.
should not be
It's
at
been a jump.
25. Like you're too knowledgeable to be
Yeah,
to
Tom, I
be
don't
at
know
that.
if you know the story, but I was playing almost exclusively 100 zoom and shotting some 200 zoom on stars a few months ago, and then dropped all the way down to 8 tabling 5 and 10 and L, trying to climb back out of the micros. And I'm now playing
Ouch.
25 on GG, so I'm making my way back, but
Did
it's
you
been.
just get fucked by the run bat, or what happened there?
I mean, if you look at my graph over the past like 4 months, I'm running something in the realm of 30 buy-ins under EV and just getting fucked everywhere, running into it everywhere, and just getting crushed.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
brutal, man. That's brutal.
I
But you were
swear
playing
to
on
God.
GG, right?
Now I'm playing on GG. I was on stars before.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
swear to God, I am down money over the past 4 months. I am just getting annihilated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's
I
rough,
think
man.
someone like you should be winning. At 50 in ACR pools, probably, I don't know, at least 6 big blinds per 100.
I'd
Like,
say I wouldn't say that. Like
I would
Honestly,
say that.
I would say
I'd
if
guess like 4 to 5.
okay, hold on. If you could make some very basic exploitative adjustments, it would be much more.
Yeah, if I could force myself to deviate more, I think I'd be winning at like 6, maybe 7. But since I can't seem to yet, I think I'm more in the 4 to 5 range.
Like
Yeah.
I have a few leaks that I tilt poorly. It's always been an online problem for me. I've never had that problem live. It's just because live you can fold and take a breath, right? And online it's just hand after hand, and I it's one of my biggest leaks. And then same thing live and online. I can call a little light, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
I definitely do sit out from my table sometimes in game if I get hit by something especially brutal and I'm like, okay, I just need a minute, recover, recuperate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
You
happen.
need
yeah,
to, yeah, you don't want to be putting in too much volume when you're clearly not playing your best game.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I quit early
Yeah, like
sometimes too, if that's the case.
Dan, I think you're better than me. Honestly, like I think your grasp of theory is better. I don't know, like I'd actually like to have you come on stream and then maybe like how like sometimes they'll have like two people. Like I'd actually like to watch you play on my stream, you know, and then me comment and us talk and
Could
and
do
talk
that.
about stuff
I
because
do
you
think
know.
that I've studied more theory than you have.
Oh,
Like I've just
definitely.
spent
Like I
more time doing it.
yeah,
I think
there's
exploitatively you are better than I am, 100%. But I do think I know a bit more of the theory. And
right,
then
but
Tombos
you
knows
could
more than I do because he's a massive theory nerd. Shout out Tombos.
right. But like you also need to like step out of that sometimes too, right? Like where it's like this is a call in theory, but like there was a spot where I had ace 10 in a 4-bet pot and it came ace high
Is
and
it
I
in
was
this
like
session?
no, it wasn't in this
Okay.
session, but it was a different spot and this I think this perfectly illustrates kind of what I'm getting at. It's well what happened when that flop came I went, "Okay, I'm going broke here." Right? I'm supposed to go broke here.
Yeah.
And I did not in that particular hand I did not change my thinking like, "All right, in theory here, maybe I just looked at the spot recently or whatever it was, and I was like, okay, I'm going broke here, you know. But if I would have really thought about it on the river, because he went 25%, 25%, I could have saved 50 big blinds. Because when I went back and looked at that hand, I was like, he has zero bluffs here,
Yeah.
zero, you know. So
I kind of
like,
do a bit of that. Like I get to that river, I go, okay, he has 0 bluffs. But what if he
right,
has some bluffs? Okay, calling
right,
just because,
but
if I make the theory call and
right,
it's wrong, I can kind of be like, yeah, but it was
yeah.
a theory call, so it's fine.
So if you look at
It's
if
not
you look,
bad.
yeah. So so if you're looking at a hand, right, like in real time there, right, and you're struggling to find the bluffs and you're having to dive into like pocket threes on an ace high board, right? It's definitely just a fold. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I
Mm.
So
think what's
like
pushed
like
me more towards exploits is switching my thinking from if it's a theory call, it's fine, to if he has it, this was a
mhm,
mistake.
mhm.
Or
But like
you can
Just
say
go ahead.
straight up.
why is it a theory call?
Yeah.
Is another question. And then
Yeah.
instead of saying, just memorizing, okay, I know this is a theory call at some frequency, you could say, okay, it's a theory call because X and Y. And if X and Y isn't true, then it's no longer a theory call,
Yeah.
right?
Right, but just name like the best streamers, right? Like you got Jarrett Man. I think Komodo is excellent, right?
Jeremy's a
Like as far as
beast. Komodo.
yeah,
Stefan streams for poker code sometimes. He's a beast.
yeah. So like if you if there's spots where I watch them and they're having trouble finding stuff, right? And these guys are playing 500, 1,000, right? And you go, man, these guys are gonna struggle, and nobody lowers finding it. Like Jarrett Man's. I love his videos. They don't come out that often.
Yeah, I know. He
Komodo,
hasn't put out anything in forever. It's so sad.
right? Like I coach with Komodo, so I have a bit of a inside look, right? Where like he'll give me some secrets here or there, kind of thing. And if I feel like he's not finding it in certain spots, then you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's
I don't know.
probably one of the most solid players I've seen on Twitch. Like, there are a lot of
Oh
people,
yeah,
if I watch, I will very frequently look at this, at a play and be like, why the hell is he doing this? This is terrible. But when
yeah.
Komodo's playing, I just never see that, you know?
There's very few spots where where like I'll watch his play and I'm like I disagree with this, you know.
Yeah. Or if I
And
disagree with it and I think about it, I can usually figure out a reason why it makes sense when he takes a line.
there's been very few spots in our coaching session where I was like, no, he'll say like, oh, I think this is a, let's, for example, like, I think this is a small bet. And I'll go, oh, no, I think this is a big bet, you know, and be right. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times where he just, like, he's nailing it or very close to nailing it.
Yeah, he's a beast, for sure. Alright, we have like 4 minutes left. Do we want to make it through this video?
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's
I
do
mean,
it.
whatever. I don't
Alright.
have work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me go back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, hands currently in progress. We have ace 5 suited, got flatted by the small blind. And big blind as well. Queen jack 4. Not a great texture for us, but pretty good. We have a decent hand to bet right backdoor flash or backdoor straight draw. We're in position.
Yeah, and do you want to play on stream? Like, play on my stream one day?
I'd be down to do that one day.
Okay. We can always cover up your name if you don't want to, like, expose your name, you know?
Sure, not expose all of the reads I have on everybody in the pool. Just kidding, it's not that
Yeah.
many. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing 25, and I don't have like huge viewership. You know, I get like, you know, I'm averaging like 10 right now. I was averaging closer to like 20 before I took a break, but
10
you know,
still
you never know.
substantial.
Yeah.
I mean, you see some of these guys, the newer streamers. I don't know if you knew Radu Tiroy, something like that. He
Mm.
was doing like a bankroll challenge on GG where he was streaming 4 tables of Rush and no cam, no audio, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
he's gonna get fewer viewers, but he was dedicated. Like he was streaming straight up maybe 15 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
And the guy only capped out like before he got burnt out and stopped at maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 viewers at his best.
Nice.
Right, and the guy was doing like 15 hours a day. It can be tough.
I've, so like the lighting in my living room. We're moving soon. I'm buying a house. I think I showed you guys,
You
right?
did show us,
I
yeah.
want. So, in the next like 2 or 3 weeks, I should be in the house. Whether
Okay.
or not I'll be ready and set up. But like I have a spotlight here because we have just like one light in the living room,
Yeah.
and the light's very bright, right? To like illuminate me enough to see, and it actually like when the light's on, my eyes get like dry. That's how bright it is, you know. Like
Damn.
so like I've been having the camera off lately, and I'm always curious whether or not like it takes away from the stream at all. Some people say it does. I mean, I think as long as I'm not like exploding, which we have some videos like that,
Yeah.
then it's
I think it
I don't know.
definitely does impact viewership though. Alright,
Yeah,
what
it
happened
probably
with
does.
Ace King here? So we he donks half pot on Jack
Yeah,
6-5. Obviously not a thing.
yeah.
Um
It might be.
I don't think it is. Not on the
Let's see.
Jack high board, even though it's kind of connected to 6-5, not on the Jack high board.
Okay.
Um
And then you opted to raise here, hey?
I hope I did.
I
I
can get
think this
behind
might have
that.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. You're right. It range checks. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
is
then he
one of
donks
your
again.
definite theory leaks. You over donk in these spots.
I overdonk.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought like all of basically like a ton of spots, even like ace high boards, where it's like the connected 7 and lower stuff.
Never. Like button versus big blind, you can simplify
Yeah.
to donking on 7 high and lower connected boards
Hmm.
and ace high wheel boards. And then when you go into earlier positions, there's dunking on like ace high monotone boards, right? Because it blocks a ton of their flushes and the like. But wheel boards just disappear. You don't even dunk on wheel boards versus earlier positions.
Okay.
Yeah, at least that's how I simplify it. There might be some other. There are definitely
Yeah,
some spots I miss, but
yeah, that's a good heuristic.
yeah. He donks big on the turn.
Yeah, after the raise. I mean, it's
We
like,
don't want to
okay.
just rip this in his eye, right? No.
No,
That's too
absolutely
out of
not.
line.
No. Like if he's even if he's fucking around here, I could be losing to whatever he's fucking around with.
Plus, the guy was playing like 15-10, so it's not like he's even
Yeah.
going to be that wide. I do like the flop raise, though.
Yeah, we can get immediate folds, 6 out. I mean,
Yeah. I think if I had a diamond, I might have like raised the flop pure. I'm very protective of my boards when people donk on stuff they shouldn't be donking on.
That entitlement tilt again.
It's that
My
entitlement tilt,
board.
exactly. My board, you don't get to donk this raise. I had this nonsensical line. It was versus this guy in the pool maybe a week ago, where he opened under the gun. I 3-bet the button with ace king suited, and he called, and the flop came like, I want to say queen jack 4, and he donked small, and I raised. And then the turn came like a king, and he donked turn again, and I shoved, and he called me off with tens.
Oof.
Like, people just show up in these spots with anything.
yeah.
Like it's all sorts of crap. I think that was the hand. Yeah. But so no, I get super defensive. Yeah, I like the size. I like the 4-bet. Maybe actually we can go slightly bigger since we're deeper.
Can we see? I mean, we can't really go over him, but I think this might have been a hand where I was like, if he jams on me, I can't remember this guy's stats, but I might have went exactly 2x here because I was like, if he jams on me, I think I'm just gonna let this go. His 3-betting range might be really tight.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that this deep.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not like a normal 5-bet. It's like a
Yeah.
yeah.
I
He's
mean,
like jamming
100
over cold
bigs
four.
deep. Yeah, 100 bigs deep. If he shoves here, obviously never a fold ever. But
Yeah,
150, I can get behind folding for
I don't,
sure.
it depends what his 3-bet stat is, right? Because if his 3-bet stat's like 4%, I'm doing
Yeah, if
so
it's like
bad against the shove.
4%, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in theory, what's the bottom of his jamming range here? I want to say nines, maybe
Yeah,
tens.
he's got a lot of stuff. And then he'll have bluffs too, but like against the 4%, you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah.
if the worst hand I'm gonna find here is ace king and then queens, it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna fold.
Yeah, if this is queens plus ace king, this is probably just a fold this deep. Yeah. 100 bigs is probably just a fold too. I haven't studied 4-bet pots. I haven't studied cold 4-bet pots. I would just range bet for 10%.
Probably what this should be, but
I have
I
no clue.
I think I remember how tight I thought this player was.
I know there's a lot of 10%ing on ace-high boards and 4-bet pots because we
Yeah.
don't really want to go bigger since we have a ton of like the kings, queens, jacks region,
Mhm.
and we want to just push equity with our stronger range, so we go like 10%. I don't know if that's a thing here.
Yeah, I remember this hand, and I remember just thinking how tight his stats
Sixes.
looked. Yeah, and I was like, just, I mean, sixes should probably be a bluff there, like.
I
Sixes. He
I was
should.
almost thinking you should try and like bet to get them off like kings or something.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
not kings. Never mind. That's silly. But sixes. What?
yeah.
I mean,
I
he
I
should
mean, like,
definitely 3-betted pre. He should definitely pure peel it to the 4-bet.
yeah.
I
What's this
said
guy's name? Field Theory. Let me
Field
just
theory.
look him up in my
Yeah.
HUD. See if I can.
Thomas, how much study have you done on like donking ranges on ace-high boards and 4-bet pots? Because I know that's a thing.
I covered it a little bit in one of my videos.
Really?
Um,
I
yeah,
might have
yeah.
missed that one.
I think it was mechanics of bet sizing.
All right, maybe I missed it.
I didn't go
So,
into detail, but yeah.
Tom, do you coach or you just do like training videos?
No, I turned down most coaching offers.
Okay. Now, you don't like coaching or you don't feel like it's something that you would do well?
Uh, I don't know. I'm just kind of lazy. I make enough money doing what I do, and
Okay.
to be honest, coaching can be kind of exhausting. Why do you ask?
Uh, I was just curious about, like I was kind of trying to figure out like why you don't play as much. Maybe you just enjoyed coaching more, kind of thing. I don't want to dive too deep into your finances, obviously. So
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I can just tell you straight up. I'm more of a, let's call it, a poker scientist than a
okay,
poker player.
Who
Um,
said who
okay.
called you a poker scientist? Somebody called you that, and you've copied that term ever since. Who
a
was it
few
again?
people.
Okay,
I
there was
think,
a few people.
yeah, a few people
I
call me
wonder
that.
if my HUD didn't load correctly because the stat I have on him is he three bets 9% of hand. So I wonder if like I'm not.
9% is reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what the reasoning was here. I don't know what it was honestly. Why I was. Because if you ask me now and I look at this, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'd probably see bet this range.
I'd probably just range bet for 10%, but I have no
Yeah.
clue.
Well, in hindsight, yeah,
Yeah,
given that they have like sixes and up here, range bet
Yeah.
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know why. Because usually I would go like a little bit bigger than 2x. But for whatever reason, my memory, I was like, just rethinking about this hand, I was thinking like, this guy was so tight. I min 4 bet here instead of like, slightly more to like 23 or 24. And then I was like, remembering like, all right, I think I was just going to fold.
I think Wizard actually does like going really, really small. They're like almost maybe even exactly 2x 100 bigs deep. Because it's a spot where we're usually going to be in position because the button's very rarely going to be getting in there. And if the button does get in there, they're going to just play a shove. They're not going to have any calls, right? Yeah, like it wants to go 2.5, 12, 23. So
Yeah, just
pretty
the min
much
sizing.
min as big blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
super linear range too, right?
Yeah, it's nines. Well, nines at a frequency, and then tens plus, ace queen off, ace 10 suited, king 10 suited at a frequency, and then just the rest of it.
I'm loving the
Yeah.
jam with jacks though.
Yeah, the
Just
gem with
ship
jacks,
it.
some tens, and then pure shipping the king queen suited.
Beautiful,
Get in there.
beautiful.
Ace queen suited, shipping a ton, king queen off. Yeah. And then if we do that, yeah, button just plays shove or fold exactly, so we're always in position post flop. And then he's supposed to no, so he rips tens plus as small blind at a frequency, and then
What was
nines is
that
just
board
pure calling.
exactly? It was ace, ace,
It was
queen?
ace ace queen. Yeah. Was it
Rainbow.
rainbow or it was? Hang on. It was rainbow. Yeah.
All right. Betting it 80% of the time.
For what size mainly?
10% only.
So it is 10%. Okay. Nice.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
85%.
Actually, while we're on the note of weird pre-flop gems, I think the one I find the most fun. So if you look at the simple ranges that um, don't play a limping strategy, and small blind raises, big blind three bets, and then the small blind's just supposed to pure rip king jack suited.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Are you? So I don't play like a ton of rips, right? Like even where they exist, because sometimes I feel like I'm gonna outperform the equilibrium in a
Like you
4 bet pot.
think they're gonna have enough leaks post flop that you could just take them to
Yeah,
a forward pot and own them.
yeah. I mean,
Potentially.
maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's easier to fold than make correct decisions on
That
the
is
following streets.
definitely possible. Yeah.
At least live, like I like playing much deeper because it always seemed because live a lot of times because the raises are bigger, you know, pre-flop and stuff. You're usually playing like a two-street game, because I
Yeah.
always felt like if you could, play deeper and make more decisions, you were usually going to make better decisions.
I mean, that is a thing, right? Like, if people aren't three betting enough, and you're likely to just go heads up in position against the big blind or the
Yeah.
like, you're supposed to open bigger because you're going to be winning most of that pot. You have a big pot share, so you want that pot to be as big as possible on average.
Yeah.
But if you get 3-bet more, you're supposed to go open smaller. I think Tom Buss will correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had an incorrect cold 4-bet there.
Which one?
It was the King Jack.
Oh yeah, I don't know why you called for it, but that's too loose, too wide.
Too wide. Worked out though.
Little
Yeah.
loosey goosey, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I don't think it's a punt, but
That's
Yeah.
not. It's .02.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
I'm losing.
Yeah,
Not a
like if
punt.
a later position had opened, it would be standard. So it's very edge case with King Jack.
How late of a position? I know if it's like button, small blind, big blind, we're getting in there
I'm
with King
looking.
Jack.
Yeah.
So
But
if it was cut off, small blind, then it's in there full frequency.
cut off small blind is okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it actually likes King Jack more than Ace Jack in a lot of those cold 4-bet spots,
Because
just
Ace
because
Jack's dominated more, or is that it? Or
you unblock folds with because the Ace blocks a bunch of their folds.
also blocks a bunch of continues though.
I think it blocks more folds than continues because the
Well, I guess
overfolding range is quite
yeah.
wide.
But if they just continue as a call, it's not that impactful, right? Because you're going to get to realize your equity post flop and maybe
Yeah.
in position depending on the positions. So I guess it's more relevant if it blocks 5-bet jams.
You do block 5-bet jams either way, right?
Yeah,
Like aces, kings, jacks, queens. But
Ace King, I
they're
suppose.
but they're
Yeah.
they're gonna like they don't open like king 8 suited, king 7 suited, king 3 suited, king 2 suited.
No, that's
But they
true.
do open the ace version of all those and they'll fold to the raise. So I think it's just straight blockers. It's my thoughts anyway.
Alright, I kind of agree with you, kind of disagree. I think my theory is more along the lines of you're going to be less dominated post flop by like Ace Queen and the like.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's absolutely fair.
Exactly Ace Queen, actually. Yeah.
Like their
Tom,
calling ranges. Go ahead.
Tom, you mind if I ask you a wizard question and then some personal questions?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So in wizard, if you go into like you go hijack and then small blind 3-bets, the raise from the hijack is to 20, and it's like the smallest one anywhere.
Which solution are you looking at?
Yeah, you could do 50 general 2.5, but I think it's so do
2.5.
yeah, and then goes to 20, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's illegal.
everything else
This is-
goes
this-
like, and even like low jack versus big blind it goes like 22, whatever. But like this is the smallest one.
Yeah, it's
and I
straight
can't-
illegal. It's too small. It's less than a min raise. Somebody pointed it out in the bugs and issues section of Wizard the other day and was like, yeah, this is
Okay.
a bug.
That's correct. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
too small. I
Okay,
think if we take a look at maybe simple,
right.
hopefully we get something a little better here.
Yeah,
One,
that's
two,
better.
This looks a little better. Yeah.
Okay.
What was your question though? Just
No,
why
it's like-
hijack was wrong?
Yeah. I was just like, I was like, what's going on here? And I actually messaged somebody about it, whoever my contact is over there, and then I never got a response. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
straight illegal bug.
Okay. So should be going to like 21 here or whatever, 20, 22, 24.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I like a larger size to be honest.
Okay.
Like it depends on the prior actions, but
Yeah.
I like a smaller size against the polarized big blind raise and a larger size against small blind because small blind is so linear and therefore I think they're going to call more.
That does make
Maybe-
sense. Yeah.
Maybe 500's a better way to illustrate this concept, but like small blinds like usually raise folding, not a lot of calling.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I prefer to size up in position.
Uh,
And keep in mind this isn't the de facto best size. This is just whatever
Right.
size they gave the solver, right? So
Yeah.
right.
check the 2.5 real quick. Yeah, again, this is the wrong size.
I was so frustrated when I saw that because I was like, I have Pio ranges saved with the wizard ranges with this size, and I can't get the new ones because I don't have a wizard subscription anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm
Oh.
stuck with the legal sizes. I was so frustrated.
So Tom, so
Yeah.